Digimodify! Podcast activate!
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 71 of LostinTranslationmon. I'm May.
And I'm Jay.
This week we watched Blame It on Ryo.
Or Friend or Foe, the legendary tamer Ryo.
It says Akiyama though, it has his full name.
Mine doesn't say that.
That's
I
weird.
wrote it out
It was definitely Akiyama.
I wrote it out off the subs that I had.
Oh, that's weird. And Goliath.
Or, here is the ghost castle, here is the steeple, open the door, and there are some people.
And here is the Kalumon, and also Nightmon, I guess.
Or, here is the ghost castle, the great escape of stray Kolomon.
So, he didn't really escape from anything, did he?
He escaped from that dog.
It's a misleading title.
It's a hilariously misleading title.
It's like, this is one thing that's in the episode, and this is the other thing that's in this episode.
They're totally unrelated, and the first one, nothing happens with it.
It's a castle.
It sure is there.
It is not really, I wouldn't say ghost castle.
You know what really bothers me, though?
Yeah.
The Chekhov's gun of, like, that bit of chocolate that Gilmon and Terramon ate.
Why is it a Chekhov's gun?
Like, it sets up something. Like, oh, there's this random food out there, and like, I ate it. Oh, but it's gross. And I'm like, is it poison? Is something going to happen?
No, it's
and
just,
then,
it's bitter.
that's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just a bit gross. Also, the moment he ate it, and he's like, oh, it's disgusting, I thought it was poop.
Oh.
And I love Terramon's, like, looking at Gilmon, who's like, ew, this is gross. And Terramon's like, well, who knows?
And he tries it anyway.
Too.
I love him so much. And on to DigiNews. Pachoo. For DigiNews this week, Appmon episode 1 was released on Saturday last week, so a week ago. And we released 2 special episodes about it, one with me by my own self, and another with Sam and Stevie from the Moncast.
Does this mean that every time an episode is going to come out while we wait, like, there's going to be 3 LostinTranslationmon episodes about it?
Yes. No, I'll yeah, anyway, so this moves me on to the next one. I'm not sure how I'm going to be covering the Applimon. We've still got to work that out. And a fan sub actually came out of the first episode. But I'm not sure whether or not we should watch that yet, because the sub has said he's not going to do any future episodes, and this was a one-off thing.
That's lame. Why would he bother?
He said it was, like, too hard.
I thought it was all, like, child language.
Yeah, but he said, like, he still had to put the subtitles on.
Does he not usually do fan subbing, then?
I think it was his first time and he said, this is my first and last time fan subbing.
He's, like, halfway through it, he's like, I hate this, but I can't stop now.
We also got a slightly clearer Chapter 4 poster, which we can now see that what previously was thought to be Ho-Omon's claw might actually be Tapiamon or Bakumon.
I don't know what that is.
It's the dream eater. It eats dreams.
Okay, what's that from?
I'm not sure if I've actually...
You're going to tell me it's from Cross Wars?
No, it first showed up, I believe, in...
X-Evolution?
No, it showed up in the Pendulum, but I'm thinking... No, it showed up in Adventure 02 in the soup kitchen.
What?
He was working at the Chinese soup restaurant.
Wait, hold on. Which Chinese soup restaurant? The one that was run by the Egg?
Yes, and he was helping him, I think.
Really?
Tapiamon, yeah.
Oh no, I remember Tapiamon, yeah, but that's
Yeah.
not what that's not. Oh no, okay.
You're thinking of he's Bakumon.
But he doesn't have claws.
No, but it was very blurry, and he looked like one of Ho-Omon's claws, but he's actually a little brown dude.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. Dream Eater sounds like such an apocalyptic beast. I was thinking he was like a giant dragon.
No, it's like, no, because
Yeah, I
it's
forgot
based
about
off
that.
it's based off the Baku, which is a yokai, and he eats dreams and stuff. And he he eats people's sleeps and dreams. So maybe it has something to do with something that happens in Chapter 4, or it could just be again Ho-Omon's claw that looks like a Tapiamon.
He's
I don't
also
know.
based on a tapir, which the only thing I know about tapirs, besides that they are small elephants, is that by ratio of size, they have the largest penises of all mammals.
I'm so glad that you informed us of this important fact.
That's the only thing I know about them.
And here I was thinking that they weren't real.
Really?
For a second I forgot that they were actually real creatures.
It's a real animal.
No, I know that. I know
You
that.
think I was making that up about a Digimon? You're like,
You thought
why
the
are you
kiwi was
saying-
extinct.
I mistook it with the dodo.
Yeah.
I've seen kiwis. They're fruit.
Yeah. Or New Zealanders. On to Lost in NewsLatelymon. Now, I was mentioning this a bit before, but I'll go into a bit in more detail now. We're not sure how we'll be covering Applimon, considering nobody really knows if there'll be a fan sub group for this season, and we're not even sure if the future episodes will be so easily to access. And
How did you get them this time?
well, the first episode was easy to access, and
Because of how?
they just uploaded it on their website.
Oh, okay.
So
You'll probably do that for all of them.
I know, but I'm not sure if that was just a hey, check out this show thing, or if it was if they're going to be doing it every week.
Whose website?
The Digimon website.
Okay.
It was on TV Tokyo.
Could be on. Yeah, but you're right. I guess it's uncertain.
It could just be a thing saying, hey, this show's going to be up during this time, and it might not be up. They might not be releasing it like that. That might have just been a one-off thing for the first episode.
Well, okay, there is a solution, though. We will, guaranteed, cover all of Applemon. However, it might take 10 years in which you will have become fluent in Japanese and fan-subbed all of it.
I would like to fan sub things one day, but, like, at the moment, yeah. I don't think I have time at the moment.
You said you could have 70% fan-subbed this as it was.
No, I think, okay, I don't think so. I said 70%.
You said you understood 70%. Maybe that's not the same thing as being able to accurate word for word.
Well, I understood what was going on because I was also watching what was happening.
Yeah, that's what context is.
Yeah. The context was pretty easy, but also I understand the fact that I could understand Japanese words helped, I think. And anyway, however, if we do get each episode so easy to access on just the TV Tokyo website as it was last week, I will be covering at least every episode every week solo, and I'll try to understand what's going on, but no promises because my Japanese is pretty bad. But yeah, we will be trying to, attempting to cover it. By we, I mean me.
And I take it that if there's any subs that come out of it in the future, or if an English version comes out, I will A, cry, and B, have to cover it.
Well, yeah, we're still not sure if we have a fan subbing group for the season, but when we do, we'll be covering it. That's why I didn't want to just cover the first episode of the sub now, because we might not get one for a while, and I would like to, cover that a bit easier. So if needs be, we might have to cover, like, the first few episodes. We'll work it out. We'll work it out.
Someone contact horrible subs. This is right. This is just right for them. This is horrible.
Aww.
I actually have no idea. They're like the best ones.
Yeah. I do, however, really recommend people watch Applemon if they can. I really enjoyed the first episode, and I found it was really promising, and I feel like a lot of people in the Digimon fandom agree with me that it was pretty promising as a first episode goes.
I recommend that everyone go out and try to find the manifesto that those fan subs did about Attack on Titan, where they spoke for, like, at length of why they call it EO10s instead of Titans in that particular sub. Even though it is officially Titans. The writer has said it is, and they're still like, nah, it's EO10s.
And now, another bit of Lost in NewsLatelymon is that I forgot to mention this last week because, like, I didn't write it in my segment guide because I was silly. And I'll just get it up so I can... Okay, there we are. So, Krazo3077 on Tumblr has set up something called Virtual Pet Pool Party, and they put out a recording of them being on a Digimon panel at a convention. And they were just talking about the differences between the sub and the dub. And they referenced us, and they said that, like, they sourced us, and they were really, like...
What, did they?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah, yes, it was a private message. That's I thought it was to the LostinTranslationmon one.
I want to see that.
I'll definitely link it in the show notes. And yeah, they mentioned us, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, check that out. That'll be linked to the show notes. And I'm sorry for not mentioning it last week. I was going to, and then it just completely left my mind because I think I had too much Applemon hype.
I will be offended if we are not described as a fan of Digimon and some dickhead.
No, you were named May and Jay from Australia.
Yes, that's awesome.
No, there were three sources. There was Digimon Wikimon, and LostinTranslationmon podcast.
I love that we're an official source because we're accredited.
Super duper. And on to Obnoxious Synopsis. The first episode that we're watching this week is called Blame It on Ryo, or Enemy or Ally, the legendary tamer Ryo Akiyama. What will happen in this episode?
So Ryo is basically the Red of the Digimon, where he's like this legendary dude with his cap pulled down, everyone's looking at him at a distance being like, oh my god, who's that guy? Oh, he's so legendary. Actually, like, the weird thing is, it's weird that they call him legendary, right? Because, I mean, no one knows who he is, so there's no legend, really, and he's a planeswalker, so all the stuff he did was in a different universe. And also, does he even have a Digimon? Because I thought that his Digimon was a big bad guy, or he was borrowing an Agumon or something. Am I wrong?
Well, in the last one, he did get a Digimon that was he had a Monodramon, and at the end, in the last game, Monodramon fused with Millenniumon and became Crusadermon.
So, does that imply that in a timeline it would make most sense for him to have a Crusadermon right now?
Yes.
That's dumb.
And that's the information we know. He has basically an out-of-control Digimon because it's his original Digimon partner, but it's fused with...
Wait, it's out of control?
Millenniumon was the bad guy in the games,
I know.
and he kind of fell in love with him in a way, but was also wanted to kill him. And it had this weird, relationship, and then it fused with Monodramon, who was a cute little blue dragon.
So what you're telling me is that is every possibility that the Digimon God is Ryo's Digimon.
If you think that.
Which would make sense to blame it on him.
Even though we also know that the Holy Beasts may or may not be the gods from the games.
That's also true.
And I'm just telling you this because this is the information that was given in the...
Crusadermon sounds like a Royal Knight.
It's not, because it's only perfect level.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like a Royal Knight. Wait, hold on. It's only perfect level after fusing with Chimeramon.
Millenniumon. Yeah, because it was like his dying data or something. It was like the
That's
leftover data.
Stupid.
It wasn't like an entire Millenniumon or something.
Digimon is stupid. I say before we start a show about Digimon on episode 71. Look, I can only conjecture that literally what happens is they see a kid in the distance and they're like, wait a minute, a human in the digital world? That's not cool. Then they talk to him briefly after he's mysterious. And then I would be so on board if he was like, I can't find Ken. But that'd be dumb. I would love it if he mentioned stuff from O2 so that young you could be even more confused. Mm. Cause you're like, it is him! It's that guy from the background. But I'd rather it be... I was saying this before we started recording. I'd much rather it be like they spot him in the background and only Takado sees it. And they just have a big reference to O2 with just like, who's that guy in the background? Who was he? And I was like, what do you mean, who? He was right there. He looks really important. I don't know.
So do you think he'll be a main character, or do you think he's just going to be a character that pops up once and then leaves?
Okay, you can't have the main character of all the games show up and suddenly be in the party. He's going... Because he'd take over immediately. He's going to be, I think, a guy who occasionally shows up, much like Genai, I guess, in Season 1. Just like someone who's just occasionally there to give information, but mostly isn't around. I'd be really weirded out if he just became part of the group.
What colour do you think his Digivice will be? If he has a Digivice.
I don't know.
Do you think
Black?
he has a Digivice?
I assume it's red, yes.
What type of Digivice do you think
The
it'll be?
original one.
Oh, okay, so you think it's going to have the Adventure Digivice?
Yes.
Okay.
I have no other information to work with. He definitely doesn't have a D-Arc.
You have looked into my collection before and you have seen his Digivice.
I don't know.
And you have said, whose is that?
He definitely doesn't have a D-Arc, though.
Yeah.
Because why would he? He doesn't have any cards. Honestly, that would be the weirdest thing, I think, for him, is I've entered this other universe. Digimon's now a card game, and also the cards work in the Digivices.
He is from this universe now, though. He did move universes.
Yeah, but he's not from here.
Yes, he is. Now he is. He's probably been here for like a few years.
No, but that's not what his origin is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, he's lived here for 2 years. He's 12 years old. How old is he? Is he 12? That's dumb.
I think so. I think he might be slightly older than everyone else, but not by much.
I'm just saying,
maybe.
if you're in somewhere for 2 years, you are not from there.
Do you think anything will annoy you in this episode?
I mean, every moment of the show that expects you to know Ryo from the games and doesn't explain it because it's like, they'll play the games, they know. Mm. Basically, every moment I don't understand, which I expect to be a lot.
Do you think it'll be a good episode?
I do, because this is not the sort of thing... I just can't imagine Ryo showing up unless the writers, had a good idea. Because he showed up in the first series, well, second series, I guess, and, they didn't do anything with it. So obviously they didn't have any good ideas for it, which it makes sense, because they had no good ideas for O2 at all. And so now he's showing up. Somebody had to go and be like, okay, we know that character from the games that we've never put in the show ever, definitely we'd never put him in. What if we put him in? What if this was the universe he went to? And everyone's like, yeah, that's a great idea! And then they ran with it. And it can only be a good thing, because if it's not, I'm never watching the show again.
Really?
That's fine.
What rating do you think you'll give it?
9.
Jeez. Okay.
Can you give... No, it doesn't work that way. Numbers don't work that way. I was like, what's 9.-1? It's 8.9.
Yeah, 8.9.
But it's 9.-1.
The second episode that we're watching this week is called Goliath, or Here is the Ghost Castle, the great escape of stray Kulimon. What do you think will happen in this episode?
So this is really confusing, because a ghost castle is very like the Bakumon episode, where there's like a million ghosts, but Goliath implies one big Digimon, so like, I have very little in the way of ideas for why Goliath is there. I almost think, considering that's the English one, that it's probably misleading. Or alternatively, the ghost castle is in like the bones of a giant dead thing. That's an option. But I think that Kulimon's going to end up in some, like in, I guess, the ghost castle by accident and be like, "Hey friends, how you doing today?" in a cage again. Which he won't fuse out of, even though we know he can, because plot, I guess. And then the kids will sort of show up on the other side of the castle to do stuff, and Kulimon will make his own little escape. I think, like, there's always a possibility the episode is just like, oh look, watch Kulimon for 20 minutes. But I don't think it'll be that.
Do you think anything will annoy you in this episode?
English Kulimon talking all the time, about nothing, and being irritating. Cute, but irritating.
Do you think it'll be a good episode?
Not really. This feels like filler, right? Because it's not like they rescue Kulimon. He just escapes from a place. Well, he's already not captured, so that implies he has to get captured, then escape.
Oh, that's right. We're going to have a new question from Obnoxious Synopsis that I just haven't added to my notes.
What is it?
Filler or not filler, both these episodes?
First one, no. Second one, yes.
And, yeah, what rating, and do you think the second will be a good episode?
6.32.
6.32?
And not really.
Okay, so not filler and then filler. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sorry I got distracted with the fact that silly me forgot to add the new part of the notes, which was filler or not filler.
Yes, silly you. How dare you?
How dare me. And so, I guess onto the show, and hopefully they're both fantastic episodes, I guess.
Let's go!
Episode 28, Blame It on Ryo, or Enemy or Ally, the legendary tamer Ryo Akiyama. Starts with Ruki, Kenta, and Kazu being at the tamer's flag, and Kazu said that it was his idea. In the dub, Kazu is so aggressive towards just everyone and everything, and he says that it was a dumb idea, and says that Kenta suggests this idea. So it goes from it being his idea, and him just being impatient, but not, like, aggressive, just impatient.
And they're like, we found the flag. The only thing I found is sand in my underwear.
Yeah.
Just whining. I totally get, even at this point, although it gets even worse later on, I totally get why people hate him. Because in Japanese he's totally fine. He's just kind of stupid. Whereas in English he's aggressively terrible. You
know what? He's normal. He's a normal boy, it seems, in the original. Like, yeah, he's impatient and he's a bit hot-headed. But, it's sometimes good to have that hot-headed, impatient, stubborn boy that's kind of stupid.
Except when it's Daisuke.
Yeah, because he takes it to 11.
Actually, it was fine with Daisuke, except that he shouldn't have been the leader.
Yeah.
I think that was what really killed me. Was we're like, yeah, like Daisuke's the leader because we're humoring him.
Because plot, I guess.
Because he was
chosen by
democratically
Taichi.
elected.
Taichi should have like. Taichi's the best, okay?
He's really good. He should have better judgment.
What if they just gave him the leader just to like shut him up, but really Hikari was the leader?
I mean, they literally they kind of did say once that he's the leader, so they should shut up.
Yeah, no, they did when they were saying, we only put him in charge of the kids so he would shut up.
Yeah, but at the same time, no one ever actually questions him as the leader of the group.
They probably should.
They really should have.
See, if Taichi had a little brother, he would be the leader of the group.
Oh my god.
What?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, but no, he had a sister, and apparently girls can't lead groups. We're still waiting on a female gogglehead.
No, but it's a goggle boy for a reason.
Yeah.
A goggle head is an insult. A goggle boy is a leader.
Oh,
even if they don't deserve to be. Because of the patriarchy. You see? You see.
It's just annoying.
So Ruki's like, yeah, I'm gonna go scout out. I'm gonna go figure out what's going on. You guys stay here. And they're like, yes, okay, we'll stay here. Hint, they don't stay there.
Yeah, and in the dub, Kazu's just much more aggressive at this point as well, because Renamon and Ruki just sort of looking at each other, and Kazu's like, hey, guys, stop with the telepathy, like, talk. Because they are just sort of looking at each other and just knowingly knowing what they're thinking.
They're really close. You get a shot of Jen and Takato and everyone walking around, and they're all talking about like, oh, we have to find them. And Terriermon in Japanese has the most hilarious line.
Yeah.
Did you catch it?
Which one? Oh, it was our destiny. Yeah.
If it's our destiny, we'll find them.
Yeah.
But don't worry about it. Which implies, if we don't find them, who cares?
It's not our destiny then.
It wasn't our destiny, so I guess we didn't. Oh well, they're dead.
I just thought it was him, like, saying, oh, it's our destiny to find them, as in, like, we'll find them because it's our destiny.
No, he specifically said, if it's our destiny, then we'll find them.
I'm sorry, I just remember the part where, Takata says, hey, Jerry, are you sure that he's your partner? Yes! How do you know? Because it's my destiny!
That's so stupid.
I love them. Okay. And, yeah, so Takata and the others are just walking in the desert because it's Digimon and that's what you have to do. And Gilmon sniffs the air. In the dub, they force in some line, which is Gilmon saying it smells like they've been walking for days.
I guess.
It's to say that they smell.
Yeah. It's really cute, though. He sniffs around like he's like a little pupper.
Yeah, because he sniffs out Digimon. It's kind of what he does, and it makes him super useful, really.
What a great dog.
He's such a good dog.
So...
Anyway, I'm just butting in here because back to when Terriermon says that it's their destiny to find them. In the dub, he doesn't say the destiny line, just says, well, maybe we should all go back to the stupid flag that Takata made. I'm like, why'd you call the flag stupid? It's precious.
Also, it's a really good idea, he just said.
Yeah, it's a really good idea, but he called the flag stupid. In the original, he does still suggest going to the flag, but instead he says, what about that place? And everyone says,
nah.
What place? What place, Terriermon? They're very confused. And Terriermon says, the flag. And just like, thanks, Terriermon. Then they go to the flag, and surprise, Kazu and Kenta aren't there. Gilmon then smells Renamon.
But May,
they were told
we
to, I
saw
know.
them agree to stay
I know.
there. But when you say you do a thing, that's a binding verbal contract.
Yes, and Kazu and Kenta always stick by their binding contracts. I know. Terriermon's then walking against the wind, and it's so cute.
I love that. He's like, I can do it.
Yeah.
I can. And then he gets blown away because there's a huge nerd who has sails for ears.
In the dub, it's my favourite line, and I'm sure you love this too.
I think Terriermon is practicing to be a mime.
It'd never work. He'd have to be quiet to be a mime.
No, I picked other ones. My favorite, I think, was wait, hold on. There's a really, really good one. I swear I wrote it down.
I have one, but it's for the next episode.
No, I think it was for the next episode.
Yeah, we'll get to it then, because I'm pretty sure I have the same line written down.
Don't antagonize him. What? Me?
No,
Never.
Okay, no, I don't have that line written down. It's another one, but we'll get to it.
Well, there's
when Ruki and Renamon are walking, they hear Kazu's voice and then Kenta's voice, and Ruki's understandably annoyed. And I'm just like, I feel so sorry for Ruki because like she basically saved these guys,
and they're like not only not grateful, but they're actively putting themselves in further danger
constantly. And yeah, then Kazu and Kenta said that they got nervous, so they went to find Ruki, and Ruki's like, oh, it can't be helped. And then they're like, oh, but what if Takata's at the flag? I'm like, okay, well, we'll go back to the flag to see if he's there.
She's like so much anger in the dub.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, you guys are stupid. We couldn't just listen to me. And also, Kazu and Kenta are just like, well, we didn't, we didn't want you talking behind our backs and being mean. But instead of saying, oh, we were nervous by ourselves, and that's completely understandable. Like, I mean, they don't have Digimon.
Yeah, because they would die.
They would die if a data stream comes along, or a Meramon throws fire at them. They don't have a Digimon to protect them. So how do they? That's understandable that they were nervous. But in the dub, it's more of they're just stubborn. And
then another light beam comes along.
Yeah.
And basically they look at it and they're like, we should probably go. Kazu and Kenta are like, nah, it's all the way over there. And then it just whips right at them.
Yeah, it just jumps and skips and takes them. And poor Ruki.
Ruki, like, completely snaps at them. Even the Japanese, like, she full on's like, I can't believe this happened.
Well, she's at the start, she's just sort of like, she's kind of curled up, she's grabbing her leg, she's not happy, she's probably, like, trying to internalize all this rage she's feeling.
But, like, very soon after, she does the full on, like, stamping, like, yelling.
Yeah.
Which in the English is just, like, bile. Like, she hates them.
Yeah. Instead of but in the original, she seems to really hate the situation rather than be directly angry at them.
Yeah, she's pretty angry at them.
But it's like, I don't know, I think that Ruki being angry at them is completely understandable.
Oh,
because,
of course.
Though, I mean, I can understand why they came to follow, But I don't understand, like, well, you should probably run from the data streams. We've learned
maybe.
this now.
It's just magnetically attracted to them. Also, in my notes, I always call Kazu and Kenta the dorks.
Yeah, no, but that's what they are. They're the dorks.
It's a group, they're called the dorks.
I also call Kazu Kazu no matter what version I'm talking about him in.
Well, that's what his name is.
No, it's Hirokazu.
That's Kazu, though.
Yeah, it's Kazu, but it's Hirokazu.
So they find like a clock that never reaches 12.
Yeah.
And Ruki's like, huh, that's weird. Reaches out towards it. Some clockwork Digimon show up, and they're like, no, and they don't get there in time.
And she does it anyway.
And she starts it up anyway. I should actually mention, they're on, like, when they got teleported, they're on, like, a cloudscape,
Yeah.
and there's all these, like, poles with gears at the top. I don't know about you, it looks like a world in Homestuck.
No, it does. It's very
The
much-
land of clouds and gears or something. Who knows? So it looks like that. Anyway, they all start going, and the clock guys are like, oh no, you shouldn't have done that.
But I just it also reminds me of a Mario Kart level,
I can see that.
or a Mario, or somewhere Mario level.
There's
Definitely
a
Mario
64
Kart.
level that's similar.
Yeah, with clouds. Yeah. Anyway, so I just want to backstep a bit from when she finds the clock. In the original, she's more curious about, well, this clock's broken. And she's more curious about it. In the dub, she's like, well, I'm going to make this clock stop because it's ticking, it's giving me a headache, and it's annoying me.
But that makes no sense. What she did was fix it. That doesn't make it stop. That makes it go.
Yeah, and the ticking sound is still the same.
It's
right?
the same sound.
Alright, so, yeah. But,
But she's
I love her.
angry in the English version.
Yeah. And
Okay.
she's kind of, in the original, she's kind of calmed down now.
In the English, we should describe her as tired and emotional.
Yep.
Because that's what she is all the time now.
But that's fair. To be fair, she has a good reason. Kazu and Kenta are pretty terrible.
That's alright. Soon enough, she won't have a good reason, and she'll not change.
I love her. I don't care.
I don't love her in English.
I love her.
But mostly because I don't like her the way she's written.
Then Clockmon and Hugramon are there, and they're upset. Then a cuckoo bird comes out, and all the gears in the cloud stop, and Hugramon says that they're at peace until the gears stop. And then a Megadramon comes out, and I love Megadramon so much.
I don't get it. They said they're at peace until the gears stop.
Yeah, and the gears
But
stop
the gears were already stopped, which should imply they're not at peace from the beginning.
all the gears were moving at the start, and then they
No,
stopped.
they weren't. They weren't moving at all. They weren't moving. She starts the clock. It begins moving, and then I think they stop again, and then Megadramon wakes up.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's what happened. You watched it twice like I did.
Yeah, I just thought the gears were moving at the start. I guess I just believed them. And, yeah, and then Renamon jumps up to protect Ruki and says that, you're my tamer, so I'm going to protect you. And obviously the only reason she says this is because Clockmon and Hugramon need to explain to them about the legend about loading a tamer's Digimon.
Okay, they definitely said that in English.
Yep.
I don't feel like that's what they said in Japanese.
They said in the original, yeah.
Because what I remember is them saying is if you load enough data, you can go to the digital world.
That's been the legend before, but now this is an additional legend, which is a tamer's Digimon, and it's in both versions.
Okay.
Because I wrote it in black.
I'm going to have to take your word for it.
Yeah.
Because I remember it differently, and I got very different impressions as a result.
No, it's definitely in both versions.
Well, that's way, way, way lamer.
But why is it lamer? I like that legend.
No, I like it. I liked it better as if you do enough, you go back to the other world, because that explains why they would fight inside the digital world as well.
Yeah.
And that would sort of explain the weird tradition around it, like, how could you kill someone and let them go to waste and not load them?
Yeah.
Well, that would make sense if loading meant something.
I think that maybe it's both, but I also think that maybe different areas in the digital world have different legends.
I mean, I guess.
And maybe because they know because Meramon didn't seem to understand that a human was in the digital world and a human would be partnered with a Digimon. Like, that seemed like a pretty different thing. But maybe because Ryo's in this area, that they've seen a human with a Digimon and they know it's called a tamer, they now have this legend that they're like, well, it's such a strong Digimon, I guess it would give me so much power that I would have enough power to get the digital world, and that legend's kind of evolved. Because it's in a different... But think of these different areas. We don't know how far away they are.
That's true, but also like it's a bit dumb. It's
Yeah.
a little stupid.
I'll give them this.
I liked it my way better, even though I made it up apparently.
Yeah. Renamon then evolves, and Clockmon comments that he hasn't seen a Digimon evolve for a long time and didn't think he'd see it again. Megadramon attacks Cubimon as she falls from the sky. Then Cyberdramon shows up.
I think you actually missed something very,
Oh, did I?
very important.
Oh, go ahead.
Which is that when Cubimon evolves, Ruki's like, go ahead and beat it and load their data.
Oh, yeah, I must have missed that.
She like actively tells Cubimon to go do it. I'm like, well, that's weird. And that was why I connected it with, like, if you load enough data, you go back to the real world, because that was something that would be something she would want to do.
Yeah.
But she definitely told Cubimon, go and do that.
In which version?
In the Japanese.
Huh. No, I completely missed that. Thank you.
I want to actually go back and watch this section, because there's so much stuff I don't remember exactly, even though I watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
Because that part was really interesting to me, because, again, she'd be the one of the three who doesn't care.
I was actually... I was watching this episode in my car before work one day.
Amazing.
Because I didn't have much time otherwise.
And, like, without the influence of the other kids around, this is how she acts. I think that's really interesting. I mean, if I remember it right. I think I do. Man, this is a really authoritative podcast where we're like, well, if things are the way I remember it,
Probably, yeah.
This is what it is.
LostinTranslationmon, and we have a new slogan. It is, probably, I guess.
And then I remembered, like, Ty showed up and he did the Macarena.
Yeah, no, it happened.
Wait, that was a dream. Wait.
Cyberdramon asks Megadramon if he's his enemy. In the dub, it's sort of the same, except Cyberdramon is a lot more vocal and he talks more.
He's like, are you my enemy? Which is like a philosophical point. Then he's like, haha, big boy.
Yeah, because that's the dub, apparently.
Because he has to sass, even though he's a weird, like, wild dragon.
I love him. He's precious.
What was Cyberdramon the one you told me that was his partner when he left the other thing? Or is this a random Digimon?
No, this is his partner in the games that sort of has Millenniumon inside him as well.
And that's why he's all wild?
Yep.
Okay. I'm glad that it explained all of that.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually explain it in the show.
It doesn't?
At all. No, I mean, like, I mean, in the future, at least not in the original version, which is the only version that would explain that. So he's out of control, and this isn't a spoiler because we covered it. He's out of control because he has the bad guy from the video games.
That's stupid.
Yep.
Did you know that that's really stupid?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. You could be a big pig too. Oi!
So then, yeah, a voice tells Cyberdramon to stop, and Ricky recognizes him. Cyberdramon continues to attack Megadramon, and Ryo says that he said stop, and then he uses his Digivice's LiT and whip.
Okay, first of all, since when could they do that? That's dumb.
Ryoken.
So first of all, I don't know if he's a special or if he just knows how to use it better than everyone else. Second, maybe in hindsight it is recognition, but I always thought that when she saw him, she was just surprised that he was a human because she didn't know him in advance. It probably was recognition, maybe.
You know, it's recognition because she's met him before.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't remember her.
Yeah. Well, in the original, he doesn't remember her.
He doesn't remember her either, I don't think.
Yeah, but he ends up remembering her
later,
in the dub. Anyway, Ryo introduces himself, and Ricky looks shocked and then really angry.
Sorry, let's rephrase for a moment.
Yep.
In the Japanese, it's recognition, I guess. In the English, it's love at first sight.
Yeah, I got that impression when I was a kid. Like, I was
That's
like, oh, they're
what
in love.
it was.
But
that was what that was. Because she doesn't get annoyed so much at the discussion of her pride and everything, which is what it was in Japanese. It's very clearly like crush. How do I handle this? Be a huge brat.
Yeah, basically. And I mean, I think we can accept that Ruki's true love is Juri, right?
I mean,
they're in love.
I'm not going to ship 10-year-olds.
Oh, okay, good point.
Also, Ryo looks really, really cool. He looks like Digimon meets Mad Max.
Yeah,
also,
no,
he might have
cool.
a robot arm. He might.
He takes it off later. I think that's just because he just wants to be cool.
Sorry, I forgot the line when Renamon's about to start fighting the Megadramon. She goes, I must protect my tamer.
Yeah.
She does this weird, stupid grunt.
I love her. Anyway, so, when Ryo introduces himself, in the dub, Rika is offended that he doesn't remember her, and it seems like she's more, offended and upset that he doesn't remember her, rather than... She just hates him being there in the original. Like, she's just having none of it. She's like, why is he here? I'm really angry. In the dub, it's, oh, he doesn't remember me. And it's just, I feel like the tone is switched a bit.
That's why I think it's about how, like, she actually likes him and is offended, rather than, like, her pride is wounded.
Yeah. Then Ryo puts the cog back in Hagurumon and then breaks the clock again. Hagurumon wants to reach the real world and meet a tamer like Ryo, and then says that he's going to train really hard. Ruki then describes Ryo, and then says that he's really annoying, how he's, got this refreshing attitude and, a sunny smile and...
I literally wrote down, he's like a charismatic celebrity. It's really weird. Everyone just, knows him, blah. And then immediately Ruki's like, ugh, he's so annoying how he's just smooth with everyone.
But I get the feeling that this is... It just felt like she was, reciting maybe a headline she read about him.
Maybe. Look, the fact that they knew who he was actually bothered me because he'd never ever been brought up before. She was posited to you as the Digimon queen of, like, years.
Yeah.
And that was her reputation.
Yeah.
And you get to this episode and it's like, no, she's been the Digimon queen for, like, 9 months.
No, for like 10 months. Yeah,
No,
almost
10
a year.
months, in 10 months, he disappeared.
Yeah.
She didn't instantly become the Digimon queen.
Well, she was coming second before, and
Yeah.
now she's coming first because the person who was previously coming first disappeared.
It legitimately bothers me that that one of the things that made her cool was only caused by the even cooler character just not being there. Also, what was he doing? Was he not busy being in a different universe? Also, he does kind of look 15. He looks way older.
He does look a bit. I think he might be. I think that he might be a year or so older.
How
maybe.
old is Ruki?
Ruki's 10. In the original, she's 10.
Okay.
Or 11, maybe.
So, wait, how old do you say he was in the original?
I don't actually know. I'll look it up.
How old is Ryo Akiyama? I'd be really interested. Because I'm really interested if it's like 15. Because
No, I don't
he's
think
so
he's
much
that much
taller.
older.
He's definitely taller than everyone else.
Rio is 11.
That's crap.
No,
he's 14.
no, he's 14. No, he's 11 in Adventure.
So-
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, he's Taichi's age.
Yeah.
He's Taichi's age
so
in
he would have
Adventure.
been probably a 13-year-old fighting a 9-year-old girl in the finals.
Yeah. No,
That would be weird.
maybe Ruki's a bit older.
Maybe?
Okay, maybe it's Rondorika. We are in dangerous territory though, so please don't look
I
at my
just
notes
look
too
at, I
much.
just look at the ages.
She's 10.
Yeah, she's 10. In the Japanese, the implication is that this 13-year-old boy was beating up like a 9-year-old girl in this tournament, and everyone's like, yeah, you lost!
Yeah.
Who does that? He was the third...
Though in the English version, she's also 13. So
But that's the English version isn't canon.
Yeah.
So he was legitimately more than a third older than her.
Yeah.
This is dumb. This is really stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, so I got the impression that these are things that people have said about Rio, and she's just annoyed by them that people think this about
I
him.
mean, like, he's right there doing it. I feel like it was an immediate
Yeah,
observation.
and she finds him really annoying. In the dub, she mentions how he always knows what to say, even though he's probably lying. So this, like, maybe he said something about her and, like, you know, got her all flustered, but she's telling herself that he's lying about it. I don't know, like, maybe he flirted with her or something, and I know her feelings got hurt because
You were 9,
romantic,
stop
apparently.
being weird.
Yeah.
In fact, you're 10, stop being weird.
Kazu and Kenta are really happy to meet him because they've heard of him before. And by the way, Ryo's voice actor in the Japanese version is Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's so accurate. That's who it should be. He's even dressed like the dude from Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
He's kind of like
Well,
that.
it's the voice actor from Sonic X and I believe other Sonic games, but not all of them, but I think most of them. He's the most recognisable one, I think. I don't know. You gotta go fast.
You got to go fat.
We then see what Takato and the others doing, and they just suddenly lose the scent of Renamon because this is where the data stream picked them up. And honestly, part of me is surprised that one of the Digimon, especially Leomon, who's been Mr. Explain Things lately, didn't say, oh, if the scent disappeared, that must have been a data stream. No one really suggested that's a possibility. And I found it weird.
I feel like it was brought up, but that's just my memory now.
Oh, I was annoyed by it, so I didn't
So
think it was
then it
brought
probably
up.
didn't. So they're like, well, since we're here, they just walk into the cave that's right next to them for funsies.
Yeah, and Takato says sorry to Juri for bringing her here, and Juri says she's fine because she got to be Leomon's tamer.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Which is good, because, like, you know...
I really like Juri. I don't think I remember...
She's so boring, nothing's happening
I
with
don't
her.
remember caring for her
She
much.
has no storyline at all.
I know, like, she's so sweet and nice.
No, she's very nice, but she's I feel like she's kind of wasted at the moment. Because the only time she got character development was, like, negative.
I mean, to be fair, I've watched the whole thing, so I might be, like, grabbing characters from late.
She probably does cool stuff later.
Maybe.
Anyway, so they go into this cave, and they find a dirt cube.
Yeah.
That's with missing a side.
And naturally they all go inside it. Magic, like, why not?
So not only do they all go inside it, which it starts floating around, they just turn to Leomon, who's the last one. They're like, hey, you should come too. And you're right, he's always Mr. Explain it. He's like, yeah, this seems like a good idea.
Yeah, this seems safe.
Then he gets inside, and the cube closes up.
No, but
and
before that, Jen says, it's kind of moving like a vehicle. And then the cube closes up. But in the dub, he says elevator?
Yeah.
I don't know, I just found that it was a strange change from vehicle to elevator.
Well-
and yeah, then the Digimon are confused, and then the...
The cube closes,
Yeah.
and crushes in, and then they all died.
Digital world randomness. I'm sorry, that's just... I love digital... Would you rather digital world randomness or desert?
I would rather digital world randomness that almost looks like real world stuff.
But they get sent to like this. Oh, what's that artist? That is, this part's sort of.
MC Escher.
Yep, it's an MC Escher sort of.
Yeah,
thing.
no, I know what you mean.
I
but
feel like my mum would like this part.
I would rather, instead of it being a dirt cube, they full on see a car, and they're like, "That's weird. All right, let's see what's inside it." And like they get in, and like it stands up on its like wheels and starts walking there, like. Just it's still different. It's still weird, but it's not just like, oh, they all died in a dirt cube accident.
Then we see that Makuramon is still riding the Dragon Daver. Then we see what Calamon's doing, and he's saying how he misses.
This scene is great.
He says that he misses Gilmon, and then he finds the Tamer's flag, and Calamon's happy because he's like, "With this, I'll be able to find Decado," and he takes it. He's so happy.
No. He first climbs it. Yeah. And the wind sort of moves it, and he goes, "Wah!" And he falls off it.
I love him.
Then he picks it up, and the wind blows it, and he goes, "Wah!"
I love him.
It's so cute.
In the dub, instead of just commenting on how happy he is to find it and that he's going to find his friends, he's commenting about how they got Rika's scowl right. But that's just something cute, which is, I hope she's always scowling. I hope I can make her smile.
Oh,
it's so cute. Back to Rio, because he's the most important character now, apparently. He asks what month it is, and they say, oh, it's October. And Rio says that he's been in the digital world for 10 months. In the dub, no time frame is given, but Kazu and Kenta are very jealous because they don't want to go to school.
So he had Cybertron long in advance. Like, I mean, obviously, because he came from a different universe.
Yeah.
God, that's stupid.
Yeah, and Ken was looking for him.
Oh, poor Ken.
In the WonderSwan games, it said that like Ken's talking to Jedi like on the computer, and this is like before Ken gets really sick and the Dark Spore starts super working.
Yeah.
And he's saying to Jedi about how he hopes that he finds Ken again, and Jedi's like, oh, I'm sure you'll see him again.
Would you just die if in like episode 5 of Try, they like the reveal at the end is like, and Rio is here?
That'd break it because like I don't think enough people played the WonderSwan games to like even in Japan. I don't think enough people played them.
But he's in Tamers, so you're like, there he
I mean, I'm pretty sure I read the notes on Tamers, and the writer was like, yeah, didn't really want to put in Rio, but someone suggested it, and then we kind of put him in.
So does that mean, and I know you can't really tell me, but does that mean when he leaves at the end of the next episode, he's never coming back?
I don't know.
I really hope he never comes back.
I don't know.
It was kind of like, it's the first like 3 seconds, I'm like, look at him, I'm like, yeah, and then I just, I just wanted him to go away.
Me too. And Rio says that Cyberdemon's hard to control, and he can't stay in the real world because of how hard he is to control. Ruki's grumpy and thinks about how he's been there for 10 months and still doesn't know how to get home.
Well, no, she theorizes that he's making excuses.
Yeah.
That he says he says he can't leave because of a reason. She says, well, he doesn't know how to leave.
Yeah.
He's making a pretty lie.
In the dub, Rika says that he shouldn't be played as such a big deal when he probably just wants to go find out how to go home so he can see his mum.
Oh, I mean, he probably should.
Yeah.
But his mum doesn't live in that universe, so...
His parents... Well, a set of parents are there. No one's actually sure...
They wouldn't have given birth to him.
No one's actually sure of, like, if the supercomputer didn't just, give him some parents randomly.
This is the stupidest plot point.
I don't like to think about it.
Digimon.
I don't like to think about it.
And I've watched the X Evolution movie.
And apparently we're watching it again with Try.
Yeah! Spoilers. Maybe. We don't know.
It's a theory spoiler.
I'm really glad I came up with it independently.
Other people have had it since, though.
No, I know that, but I'm proud that I
did it in your own self, and we're very impressed.
No, because I'm not even the Digimon fan.
You are now.
No,
I dubbed the Digifan.
No. I'm going to watch more Lucha Underground instead.
No, Digimon. Kazu explains that Ruki always came second in the card tournaments and how she only became the Digimon Queen after Rio disappeared. And he says, she always was second because Rio was always first. In the dub, Kazu says, and Kazu is much more he's not sensitive at all in the dub, and he says that
he's a huge asshole.
Yeah, Rio was always able to beat the Digimon Queen, and he's the only one that she's ever lost to, which means that, they kind of fix your complaint, which is she only just became the Digimon Queen a year ago. In the dub, they seem to have changed it slightly to her still being the Digimon Queen, but he's the only person she's ever lost to.
I don't know how hereditary monarchies work exactly.
Yeah.
But you'd think if there was a title of Digimon Queen that you could get quite quickly by being the best, that they might have actually called him the Digimon King before that.
Maybe.
But they obviously didn't think very complexly about it and just decided, well, whatever, it is what it is.
Ryo doesn't remember Ruki, but after a while, Ryo
an ass.
Ryo sort of said, "Oh no, wait, I remember you. You played very well." And yeah,
Stop being humble, you dick.
Ryo then says that he helped Ruki and she should thank him, and Ruki said she would never thank someone like him. In the dub, this is when Ryo says that she was good at battling, and then Kazu says that Rika should thank Ryo for saving them.
It's so much worse that someone else says it.
Yeah.
It's so much because, like, at least from her perspective in Japanese, she can be like, "Oh, he's kind of being pompous here. I can come back to this." Someone's like, "You should thank him." You're like, "I hate you, and I hate you, and I'm leaving."
I hate everyone here. Ryo then says he wasn't planning on staying in the Cloud Gear world anymore, and that they can now go together. Ruki then says that they should exit by going up, even though Ryo says they can't. In the dub, Rika asks him how he knows there's no direct way to the real world, and how he might be lying, and then she leaves because she wants to go home now, apparently, instead of finding her friends in Kalumon.
The sense that I got, very specifically, was that he brought it up first. He just says, out of nowhere, kind of, there's no way to get out by going up.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, she has to take the negative stance. And so she says, "No, of course there is."
Yeah.
So she's out there to prove him wrong.
Yep.
And thus vindicate herself in her pride. I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid, but it's character stupid, which is fine.
Yeah.
Not like Kazu stupid, which is mega stupid.
Have you noticed that in the dub, they keep on making Rika want to go home instead of help her friends?
No, but she's searching for them both.
No, but in the dub, she always, like, her priority is always, I want to find the way to go home.
Well, I mean, I have. My favourite, though, was the Killamon's fine. Let's just leave. Yeah. That's so stupid.
What do you think of this episode as someone who was new to Digimon?
God, it was kind of boring.
Really?
Like...
I liked watching it once. I didn't want to watch it twice.
Like, nothing really happened. The only thing that happened is Ryo showed up and Ruki's upset about it. Yeah?
Yeah.
The cloud thing is nothing. Nothing is accomplished. There's a fight which none of the kids that you care about do anything in. And if you're watching this episode not knowing, think of the context as if we didn't know who Ryo was when we went in.
Like, when I watched it?
Like when you watched it, but imagine, like, now. I mean, I knew the idea, though I didn't know what he looked like, really. So, there's none of this alternate universe stuff. There's none of that. He's never been mentioned before. You are 28 episodes in, and a character shows up and they're like, "Oh my god, that's the guy who's better at games than Ruki is, who was previously the best at games. He's so cool!"
Well, he's clearly pretty shoehorned in just to say, hey, remember the games? Remember the games? Yeah, remember the games.
Yeah, he feels shoehorned in, but it's to such an insane degree, and the way he treats everyone, and he's like cool kind of emo story of like, "Yeah, I have the most powerful Digimon partner, but he's too dangerous for the real world." I believe the term is a Gary Stu.
Yeah, I was about to say he feels like a Gary Stu.
And even
self-insert.
more in English when, like, he shows up and everyone loves him. Like, Ruki, like, appears to have it doesn't appear to have a crush on the English one, but then, like, she's angry because that's what the animation does.
Yeah.
But, like, obviously Kazu and Kenta are, like, worshipping the ground he walks on in both. He just feels like a fan fiction character. A really terrible one.
How do you rate this episode?
God, it was like a 6. I don't know. It would have been a 5 for nothing happening. But yeah, 5 is nothing happened, but nothing was severely awful. The +1 point is because Ryo was interesting for half a second, and the English version is like a 4 because everyone's more annoying.
I don't even remember watching this episode as a kid.
Because nothing happened.
Like, I'm not sure, maybe, like, I didn't watch as much as I thought I did, because I always thought that it cut off, like, at episode 36, or something around that point, but maybe, like, because I don't... No, I feel like maybe I just don't remember these episodes because they weren't very good.
This episode and the next episode are filler of the fillerest variety.
Yeah.
It's actually ridiculous.
At least you get to meet Ryo.
I think it's even worse because it's 2 episodes that are connected. Since when do you have a 2-part filler episode? That's called a movie.
But I'm not really, like, I'm not coupling these episodes together, like, in the recording, obviously, because, like, they do have sort of different plots, but by which I mean they don't have much plot, but I still gave it a 7.
They're related because Ryo's in both. It's the introduction and the goodbye to a character you've never met before and will never see again. a la Michael.
Yeah, but did you really want to see Michael? No, we saw Michael again. In the,
Right, Michael has more
world tour.
continuity probably than Rio does.
We saw him in the world tour.
I can't believe you bought his Digivice if
Who,
he's
Rio?
this crap.
Though I think the Digivice was actually shown before we saw Rio.
And you were like,
In the
oh,
show.
whose is that? That's awesome.
Well, I didn't see it until, a few years
Which
ago.
is the one with the patterns on it?
What one?
That you have Digivices that I think they're Deox and they have these like patterns on them.
Oh, they're just Bandai Asia ones.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't exist.
Oh, that's really. I was hoping it'd be like when in the Try the Digivice goes and changes like something like it,
We've already seen them evolve to perfect, so
but not to ultimate.
I don't know.
I wonder if they probably will.
What about what you thought about this episode compared to what you wrote down for an obnoxious synopsis?
So I forgot that I wrote that.
What?
They'll see Rio and be like, who's that sly dog? And he'll be like, I don't think I want to associate with you cool cats on an extended basis, but I will occasionally give sage advice as I try and find my Digimon dude.
Where's that from?
Nowhere, I just wrote it for
Oh,
fun.
okay, you're strange.
It's just them talking like 70s guys. Basically, the implication being that, like, he shows up sort of in the course of his own personal quest, which is technically true, but mostly defined as Digimon, which is not the case.
Yeah.
And he would sort of, like, give them some advice about the digital world, then leave. But instead, he kind of walked in, was like, yeah, I'm pretty cool, and then pissed off Rookie.
Yeah.
What a great episode. It wasn't. As for things that would annoy me, I said, like, all the bits where it expects you to sort of know stuff from the game. And it wasn't a lot. Obviously, we talk about it now, and you're like, okay, that explains this and this from the game. How he got a Cyberdramon, why it's so crazy. At the same time, it didn't necessitate any of that stuff. What I didn't anticipate was how just not cool Rio is very cool, but, like, how not cool his interaction would be.
Yeah.
I feel like this is what would happen. I would have a much cool. How hype would you be if instead of Rio, Tai was there?
Oh, very hype. I love Tai.
Okay, so now take that and imagine that Tai shows up. He's like, "Yeah, I'm here," and it was like, "Who are you?" And he kind of explains, I was from this group of adventurers from the thing, and then the clouds opened up and he fell through. Like nothing happened.
Yeah. And he just, he is there. Hi, I'm Tai, and then leaves. Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, that was nothing. That was how I felt," and I never expected nothing to happen.
So it's more like a reference.
It's a reference to nothing. Because the Neo Geo Pocket Color didn't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So no, it wasn't a good episode, even though it had to be, as I said. And so that's a huge failure. And instead of 9.1, it is a 6 and a 4.
Oh, you're grading the English version as well?
Yeah, and it was filler as hell.
Yeah, so you said it was not filler.
Ugh.
But it was totally actually turned out to be actually filler.
Because I thought he would stick. I thought he would be like not quite the Genai of like the guy who gives advice over the course of the series, but like you kind of like that.
Yeah. What was the major difference you noticed between both versions?
Oh, just Rookie's reaction, obviously, where it seemed more like she had a crush and was defensive about that than her pride was hurt. That, like, she lost in card games and the guy doesn't remember her.
Yeah, it always seems to be attitudes that are different.
Yeah. And I mean, Kazu's way, way, way more annoying.
He's aggressive instead of just a bit thick and stubborn.
This is like summer camp, but instead of learning how to tie knots, it's butt kickology.
Yeah, and the part where, at the very start, when they ended up following Rookie and they say, yeah, we just kind of got nervous on our own, and that was, understandable. And Rookie says, oh, well, it can't be helped. And she's a little bit annoyed. But, she's handling it quite well. She's like, oh, can't be helped. That's fair enough. She's fine with it. Then she loses it when, they get teleported again.
So there's a great line, which is, maybe it's a grandfather clock. If you find a grandfather, he'll let you out.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Who thought that was a good idea?
Someone thought it was funny, I'm sure.
Someone wrote that line, and then an editor looked at it and was like, yeah, that's cool. Also, I feel like when Rookie was legitimately angry at them for getting lost in another data stream, Kazu had like a comeback where he was just spiteful and awful to her.
Yeah. I feel like they were more apologetic in the original.
Of course they should be.
Yeah, well, obviously. Episode 29 which is called Goliath, or Here is the Ghost Castle, the great escape of stray Kalumon. Starts with Takado and the others being in this strange, like, black and white world.
Well, the dirt box delivers them there.
Yeah. And Terriermon says that wherever they are, it's still the digital world. Gilmon then eats some bitter chocolate, and in the dub, it's not really explained if it's bitter or not, it just makes him feel sick. So it's not explained what it actually tastes like.
No, it's bitter. He says that.
No, not on the dub.
It's written in my dub notes.
Oh, it's not. I'm pretty sure I made a point to say that it wasn't like called to be bitter.
No, in the dub, it doesn't explain.
Yeah, that's what I said, isn't it?
I get the sub and dub mixed up sometimes, even though we're on episode 71.
Yeah, in the original, he says, "Oh yeah, it's just bitter." Leomon then says it's not clear what anything they will eat is because the data is different. And data changes, so I'm pretty sure that that's why that the chocolates were there, just for him to say this line about how the digital world's weird.
I mean, that makes sense, because otherwise there's no point to this. Because, like, I honestly thought they might have been setting up a joke where they were eating poop.
Yeah.
Which I think we discussed before.
Yeah.
However, Terriermon eats it anyway, also complains. But then when people ask him, like, why would you do that? He goes, you just don't know what things taste like until you eat them.
Yeah, so it's me too, buddy. Me too. I love Terriermon. Then they hear Kazu and Kenta singing. In the dub, Kazu's just talking a lot. And then they reunite. In the dub, Kazu says that they ran into lots of trouble and basically says that, Ryo kind of helped them. And then Cyberdragon shows up and is quite scary and Takado backs off. Ryo says not to worry because she's just looking for an enemy, and that enemy is a Digimon.
You know what I figured out?
What?
Cyberdragon looks like what Megalogrammon would turn into if you took the step from Metal Greymon to War Greymon.
What do you... Oh, yeah, like
the big robot dinosaur compressing down to, like, the sort of almost the more human-y one. That looks like... Cybertron looks like what Megalogrammon would turn into next in that trend.
You haven't seen the opening at the moment, have you?
No, I always skip it.
Okay, because it has all the future evolutions that we're going to see.
I should totally watch it.
Don't.
Well, because, I mean, that is part of the watching experience,
I just feel like
the opening.
I know, but I always feel like it ruins it. Like, half of seeing a Digimon evolve, in my opinion, is you get to see what they turn into.
I agree with you.
And you get to experience that, feeling. But if you've already seen what they turn into, it's
like, what's it gonna be? What's it? That's really lame. Why would it turn into that? That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about all Digimon, basically.
And yeah, instead of him saying he's looking for an enemy, in the dub, Ryo explains that Cyberdragon's a puppy on the inside, and I'm like, pretty sure he's not. Pretty sure he's like, really...
Millenniumon.
Yeah, Millenniumon. So, yeah, please don't call Millenniumon a puppy. Even though he was kind of in love with you. Yeah, that's the thing.
That's really dumb.
Yeah, after fighting him for 3 games, he realised that he's in love with him.
I mean, I think... Because it was always just vaguely implied about Bowser, and in Paper Mario, it was straight up basically told to you.
Yeah.
But I think that it'd be really funny if you had, like... But it's like, Mario never, like, seems to react to it. I just want, like, one time in one of the more mainline Mario games for Bowser to just be like, come on, and, like, hold up, like, a love heart. Like, I just really want her. And Mario's like, yeah, alright. Just like the bad guy falling in love with the thing.
Yeah.
No, sorry, let me rephrase that. I want Bowser to be like, I was just trying to get you close to me.
Yeah.
And Mario's like, yes.
Jen then explains that a boy disappeared after a card tournament last year, and there was a rumour that he went to the digital world.
That's so stupid. Oh, there was a rumour he went to the digital world.
No, fine.
What does that mean?
The dub changes this, and it has Henry commenting that he's heard that he's the best tamer of all time.
What it actually kind of bothers me that Ryo uses the word tamer, because I kind of got the sense that, like, Takado made that up because it sounds dumb. In what context would they have ever used the word tamer before?
The card game, because you tame multiple Digimon, sort of.
You don't tame them. You are not a tamer. You're a card game player.
Also, the game that Ryo came from was always something tamer. There was Anode or Cathode tamer. And then it was Brave Tamer.
Because, like, people who play Yu-Gi-Oh! Are not duel masters. That's not what they're called.
And what are they calling duel masters?
They're called card game players. Like, normal people.
But, though I have Magic the Gathering players...
They're also called Pharaoh.
Magic the Gathering players do call themselves Planeswalkers.
Sometimes.
The events call them Planeswalkers.
However, the thing about Planeswalkers is that, like, if you do that action, what else are you going to be called?
Yeah.
Whereas the action of having a Digimon partner especially hilariously in English when
Yeah.
you already have a show that told you what you should be called.
Yep.
The fact that they don't call themselves in the Digidestined in English is ridiculous.
They do. Takato's called them the Digidestined.
Has he?
Yep.
They usually call themselves
And I got really
though.
upset by it.
They should know, but it makes sense in that context. Oh, my favorite show says Digidestined. I'll just call myself that, right? Because the situation is similar. It's really dumb. Except
Anyway,
that he's the most tamer of
Yeah.
all of them, because he actually has legit tame his.
Juri asks about Ruki and is shocked to hear that she went off alone. Takato asks Kazu if he said something weird, and I like how he makes that connection.
Like, immediately, Kazu, what did you do? I didn't know. Kazu, what did you do?
And in the dub, Takato doesn't really ask. Kazu just sort of keeps on talking and basically says, well, not that I said anything wrong or anything. Okay, maybe I did.
And I'm like, why would they even say I peed the bed? It was only 17 times.
Yeah, basically. Then Ryo, and this is only in the original, he says, I think it might be because of me, and he looks kind of guilty.
Yeah,
So-
because he has no
yeah.
remorse in English. No one does.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, doesn't shut up about how great he is, basically, in the English version. But in the original, he's just, oh, I think that might have been because of me, and he seems kind of sorry about it. Jen is then worried that Ruki's alone, and Juri says that she'll be fine because she's very strong, and she's got Renamon, who's also strong. I'm like, I love their friendship so much. I love them. I'm so happy for them.
Then a bunch of scarecrows show up for no reason.
Yeah. No, this is after. Hang on, you're skipping ahead a bit.
Always.
So Ruki and Renamon are walking along the clouds, and Ruki's really angry about Ryo. Renamon asks if they should have gone with him, and Ruki says to not mention his name. Renamon then comments about how sometimes she doesn't understand Ruki. Ruki replies by saying it would be annoying if she did. And I just feel like, I feel in the dub it's sort of the same, except Rika is slightly less understanding.
It's just really dumb, and like it's upsetting that the inclusion of Ryo not only is bad from a story perspective, but actively ruins one of the better characters.
Yeah. Then we go back to Ryo's group, and Ryo's explaining that about the Dart streams, and Kazu and Candace says, "Oh yeah, we already know, we've seen them." And like, yeah, you have, you
Up
terrible
close,
people.
multiple times.
In the dub, instead of them talking about this, Kazu and Kent are just asking Ryo for tips about how to tame a Digimon. It's like, oh my god, stop.
He's like, well, you take your Digivice, and they're like, I don't have one. He goes, well, I got nothing for you.
Ryo then asks Takato why he came to the digital world, and Takato asks him if he's seen Kalumon. Then Takato explains about the Deva and all the destruction that happened in Shinjuku. And Ryo asks, oh, was it in this place? Referring to his hometown. And Takato says, nah. In the dub, Takato explains that the Devas could digivolve with Kalumon's power, and Ryo says that they should rescue him as soon as possible.
He doesn't actually know if they can digivolve with Killamon's power.
Yeah, so the dub kind of makes it up. But it is sort of like a scary idea.
However,
Yeah?
we know that the Digimon God can make you evolve.
Yeah, so they already have the power. But to be fair, Takato doesn't know this.
Yeah, but like it's weird and backwards when you hear it coming from him. Like, this is what we're worried about. It's like, but you don't need to be worried about that because they can already do that thing you're worried about.
Yeah.
It would be like if the plot was we have to stop them from getting the nuclear codes because then they'd have access to nuclear weapons, but they already had them.
Yep.
So what you should actually be doing is stopping them from launching nuclear weapons, but it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, and now the Scarecrow Mon show up, and they're called Nohemon. And when they show up, Ryo says they won't hurt them.
And then they are never ever mentioned or seen again.
But they show up, it's a cameo of another Digi-Egg one. I think it might be Patamon with Sincerity?
That's crap.
Yeah.
That's really garbage.
We then see Kalumon again, the best character!
Oh, he's the best.
And he's sad, and he wants the others to find him, and then Dogimon starts
No, you
comes
have
up.
to cover the fact that the flag broke and he's wearing it as a cape.
Yeah, I love him.
It's like, because in the, it was originally my screenshot of the week, then I had to change it.
Oh, you changed it? You didn't send me a new one.
No, I know, I changed it to the one I sent you.
Oh.
Originally it was the title bit where it's him stretched out wearing
Oh,
the
yeah,
cape.
yeah.
And I'm thinking, when I saw that, oh, is he going to be like a ghost? Because he's got this thing on, they're going to be a mistake? He goes, ooh, because he's having fun?
Yeah.
No, because the cape on the inside's nothing. On the other side, it's all the faces. It's really, really cute. It's the best.
I love him. So yeah, Dogimon shows up and starts attacking and barking, and then he
Throwing
says,
peanuts at him?
yeah, and then he says, cats! And Kalumon's like, no, I'm not a cat, not a cat, not a cat. And he starts going, roar, 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 and chases him because he's a dog,
Why
get it?
does he throw peanuts at him? What
he's-
were those?
Also, he sounds like Muttley.
Okay, the thing...
That was Scooby-Doo.
The thing about Dogimon... is he actually called Dogimon?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or maybe Dog. It's Dogmon in the original, I think.
He's Green Dog.
Dogmons!
No. So the problem with him is that, like, did you get the sense that his animation was really different from everyone else?
I
Like,
think it's the design. I think this is another design contest Digimon.
Because, like, he didn't look like he physically belonged in the show.
He looked like a crossover, like when they did the Disney Channel crossovers and they had clashing animation styles. Like there was the Proud Family in Lilo and Stitch, and Kim Possible also in Lilo and Stitch or something.
You know what, though? That's actually better still than when they changed the art style for new characters, like when
Jimmy Neutron?
and Fairly Odd Parents. It was like, oh, it's disgusting.
Stop, please. In the dub, Dogimon says that he smells lunch, and then he says that Calamon is his lunch, and then he has a Muttley laugh. Basically. So instead of, like, this cute, like, moment of, like, you are a cat, and Calamon says, I'm not a cat, and then he chases him, it's like...
Cat!
It's like, I'm gonna eat you because I'm terrifying.
Oh, no.
Back
Why
to
did he throw
yep.
Why did he throw peanuts at him? What
guess-
were they?
Peanuts.
What? I don't...
I'm trying to do Muttley laugh, it's not
I
working.
don't get it. It's such a random moment. And this is The Great Escape, by the way. This is the reference.
Yeah, but I thought it was a very misleading title, and I forgot what happened, and I kind of was like, oh yeah, that must be what happens. No, it's not what happens.
That's it.
It's not referring to the Ghost Castle. It should be like, it's a separate entity to, the two titles are separate. Like, the one title has two separate parts, and they're very separate. This is happening, also this is happening. Then we see Ryo helps them find a house, which is very uneven.
It's like a hotel. At least that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's like a big castle-y... It's
the castle.
Yeah, it's the ghost castle, apparently. In the dub, Ryo says that it gives him a headache to look at, but it's safe. When they go inside, Terriermon says...
This place is bigger than Kazu's ego.
Yeah, or your mouth.
Oh.
This, of course, is to replace silence in the original.
Also, I forgot when Cyberman first shows up and Terriermon's, like, kind of sassing him. And Jen's like, yo, stop that. Stop antagonizing him. And Terriermon's like, what? Me?
Yeah.
Never. And there's what's it called? This looks a lot like the hotel from in Black and White. From
I was going to say
The Illusion Hotel.
I thought it was Devimon's mansion.
I thought that was a hotel. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about,
Oh,
though.
you said black and white.
It's a black and white version.
Of
that.
yeah, it's Devimon's mansion, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought of that as well, especially the room where they went into.
Yeah, with just the beds all lined up. It's like they got a cell from the old thing and just
Yeah.
just monochromed it.
And sort of like made it uneven. So there's a few silence bits as they enter the building. And when they enter inside, there's silence and it just becomes nighttime. In the dub, Gilmon wonders when it's bedtime and then it goes dark and he says, oh, I guess now. Then they go to the bedroom and this room just reminds me so much of Devimon's castle, which showed you the 8th child was going to come. There were 8 beds. Also, I guess symmetry, but also there were 8 beds.
That's dumb. But that said, that's not necessarily the case because obviously you just need to be symmetrical because of the way the room is. But I do like that implication.
Kazu and Kenta then say that they can't stay long because they have to find their Digimon partners. Because remember that they're devoted to finding their Digimon partners. They don't want to be the only ones who could probably die.
There's literally no reason for them to expect they could even maybe find a partner.
Yeah, they're just kind of there.
This is like 2 of your friends showing up and saying, "It's our destiny to win the lottery."
It's our destiny to find Decado.
No, so not only are they going to go out and buy lottery tickets, they're also going to pick up random ones off the ground and be like, "Are you my winning lottery ticket? Are you?"
Yeah.
There is no logic behind their assumption. I felt the same way about Jury about this, except that somehow she won the lottery
I love her. It's
through
okay.
sheer force of will. But with them, it's way worse.
What if they don't get partners?
I hope they don't. Honestly, I hope that Kazu dies.
Aw! He's fine in the original.
Yeah, but I hope he dies in English.
They can't just kill off a character in one version.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying. Like, I will sacrifice Japanese Kazu for English Kazu's death.
Okay. In the dub, instead of wondering where their Digimon partners are, Jerry is, they're saying how they're happy they don't have to go to school, and then Jerry reminds them they're on a rescue mission, and Kenta remembers. Well, in the original, when Jerry starts talking, this is just a different section from what they just said, and she's commenting about how she hasn't eaten for a while, and Kenta says he's not really hungry. Then Dakota says he's also not hungry. And in the dub, this is the first mention of him not being of anyone being hungry, because they kind of removed Jerry saying that she hasn't eaten for a while, to her being, talking to Kenta. They changed the conversation up a bit.
Yeah, I Maybe I was misinterpreting it in the first one. Because in the English, they certainly say, you only eat when you feel like it. You don't actually have to.
Yeah, no, they say in the original, definitely.
Yeah, because he specifies specifically, I haven't eaten in 2 weeks because I don't gotta.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in the Japanese, he didn't give an illustrative example, and the wording he used was like, well, you only when you
I think he literally says, you only eat when you're hungry and you don't get hungry.
I feel like he said you only eat when you're hungry, and then it sort of just stopped like that.
Yeah, I feel like that. But he also says the rules are different.
Yeah.
So.
You only eat when you're hungry, and everyone's like, yeah?
But also, I like how they haven't mentioned being hungry the whole time like they did with Adventure. Until they realised they didn't have to eat. They were constantly talking about finding food.
Well, because that's a legit... You know what that was, though? Obviously.
I think it was just...
That was them being like, okay, survival thing, so let's go. Then they, 10 episodes in, this is really stupid and constraining our story. What if we just make some crap up?
Yeah. Juri goes to bed, but then she says she's not tired. Takata says if she closes her eyes, she'll fall asleep. In the dub, Jerry asks Takata if he misses home, and Takata, shrugs the comment off and says, I haven't really thought about it, even though he probably has.
Oh boy, has he.
During the night, Nightmon is walking up and down the hallways. In the dub, Ryo says that he's just looking for enemies to decapitate.
So, this is another appearance of another Digimon who has no interaction with them, and then leaves, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
What an exciting episode!
Yeah.
Isn't it great to see a Digimon over there? Look at them over there. That sure is a Digimon. What a show full of magic and wonder.
No, I kind of like it that it shows that not all Digimon are there to kill you. They're just kind of there.
That's fine. And that's always when, when you talk to the Meramon. You're like, hey, what's up? Not like, there are some scarecrows over there. Focus on them. Animate them.
Okay, now
they sure are scarecrows. Never talk about it again.
In the original, Ryo says that he won't hurt them, and then he just falls asleep. And Kazu and Kenta talk about how he's tough or manly. In the dub, Kazu says, "Wow, he's really either really brave or he's lost his marbles." That's fair enough. Like, that is kind of scary, but I guess Ryo would be used to it since he lives there.
Yeah, for 10 months. And has the most powerful Digimon that isn't Imperial Dramon.
Yeah, he's not the strongest one because he can't be. Imperial Dramon is.
Yeah.
Then Takata's looking through his bag and notices how he brought all this stuff for no reason because he doesn't really need all this survival stuff.
One of them said keep.
Yep.
I don't
know
what was
I
it?
think it might have been a heat pack, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Takata finds a letter from his mum sewn into the bottom of the bag, and it's really cute.
With a talisman.
It's a what's it called? Oh, Omamori, which is like those things you buy at temples.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a good luck
like
charm.
A fortune. A charm.
It's like a charm. Yeah. In the letter, in the original, it says that his mum says that she regrets letting him go without saying goodbye properly, and that she remembers the day he was born and how tough it was to birth him because he was so large.
That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, that's a pretty, you almost killed me, okay?
That was a huge focus of the letter, was like, you were really hard to give birth to, so I would never want to do that again.
Yeah, that's why you're an only child. It hurt.
Whereas in the English, she's like, I just remember when you jam spinach up your nose.
Yeah, but it's still loving. Both of them are loving.
They're
in
both
different
very
ways.
nice.
They're both very nice.
And it cuts to to flashes of what's actually going on at home, and she's like, but I'm actually proud of you, and I will love you, and I just want you to return home safe. And she's like at his bed crying over his stuff.
Yeah.
And the dad's there
with Gilmon bread.
With Gilmon bread for the first time. And only in English do they acknowledge that.
In the letter,
Where they're like, Gilmon's getting better. It's not perfect, but it's getting there.
Gilmon bread still needs work, is the line I believe it said. But it's really kind of... This scene is probably the best scene out of both the episodes.
In the English, because the tone is so much brighter, it's almost like they're trying to cover up the fact that she's obviously crying.
Yeah, she's pretty much breaking down into, his jacket.
Yeah. Whereas in the Japanese, the tone is right, so you can immediately tell what's happening.
Yeah.
It's almost like she's vibrating in the English one, because she's too happy. She's like, haha, you jam spinach up your nose, while you're watching her, be depressed.
I think it's her, in the original, when she's saying about it was hard to birth him, she's saying it was worth it, and she's so proud of how big he's grown, and how happy she is that she gave birth to him.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But...
And it's a lot deeper, and in the dub, as always, it's fun and giggles and laughs, even though she's clearly very understandably upset. This is her 10-year-old son. Her only 10-year-old son. That's
okay. They used to send them off in the wars, right? That's what the Children's Crusade was about, I think.
Oof. Juri notices that Takata is crying, and she asks him why he's crying, and she walks over and notices
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Yeah. That he has an amulet, and then she says that his mother must really care. Then Takata says that they have to find Calamon, and Juri agrees. Then, in the dub, for some reason, Takata says that if his mum saw Cyberdramon, he'd be grounded till he's 100. I'm like, that's kind of a dumb line.
Yep, it's real stupid.
Like, well, she wouldn't be too happy, no, but, like, I don't know, that ruins, like, how deep this scene is. We then go back to Calamon!
Calamon's being great. He's walking through the desert. He's like, I gotta keep going, like a train. A chugga 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 chugga.
And he's so sleepy and it's so cute.
So in the Japanese, he's like being kind of sad. Like I miss people. I want to see him again. Whereas in the English, he's like fully whining, like, oh, my feet hurt. If I had toes, they'd be painful. Then some stuff begins to happen. Yeah,
Beelzemon shows up, and he's on his bike, and Calamon asks him who he is, and then asks if he knows Takato and Gilmon, and he shows him the flag.
He's so cute.
And Beelzemon speeds off on his bike without saying a word, and Calamon says, that was a Digimon, a few words. There are so many different Digimon here. And then he's sad that he's lonely and alone. Like, he realizes he's alone again, and he's like, I'm sad because I'm lonely. In the dub, he's just thinking about how if Takato doesn't find him soon, Makurumon will. And then he thinks about how mean everyone is being. He's kind of whiny again.
Yeah. Then he runs off. Am I missing anything?
No, you're skipping another bit with Takato's group. That's the problem with all these, like, that all the characters are separate, and I keep on having to skip between scenes, and obviously, like, you miss stuff.
It's not that I miss stuff, is that stuff is so unimportant and I don't care that I don't make notes about it because it's not relevant.
I think we say this every week, that I write, like, basically everything that happens, because I like to make sure I cover everything that's different. I mean, I probably still miss out on a few, like, little tidbits.
I only cover stuff that I think is even vaguely interesting.
So that's why your notes are, like, two sentences.
If I miss stuff, that's because it wasn't good.
I hope people appreciate the notes that I put up, because, like, wow. I think I put far too much effort into, like, it takes me, like, 3 times as long to watch the episodes because of how detailed my notes can get.
I hope people laugh that when sometimes I write stuff in my notes and it's just blatantly wrong. Like when I say that Gilmon is wearing the flag as a cape.
I've done that before, to be fair.
Also, you know what the dog is? I did actually write it down.
What?
It's Duck Hunt Dog.
Yeah, it is Duck Hunt Dog,
it's
you're right.
It's exactly Duck Hunt Dog. He even does the laugh.
Yeah, but it's also Muttley.
But it's the same colour and everything?
Yeah. Well, it's probably... Though I'm pretty sure it was another competition design character, so someone just ripped off Duck Hunt Dog.
Full on.
Well, and they put a D on him. Anyway, Takato and the others are at a staircase, and Ryo explains that they have to go down to go up, and how the digital world is different. In the dub, Ryo tells them to go down the stairs to go to another plane, and Kazuo and Kenta complain that they bet they won't find their cool Digimon partners down in this other plane.
Keep in mind that they do not actually go up by going down. They go down and they only go down.
Yeah.
Because if you think that the town must be elevated,
yep,
then they go up into a hotel, so that's also elevated. Then they go down some stairs and end up on ground level.
Yep.
So they just went downstairs.
Yep.
Just elsewhere.
Yep.
This is really dumb. And that's it. That's the end of the ghost hotel.
Yeah, well done. We got the here is the ghost castle part.
The ghost castle was a place that they saw.
They slept in for a night.
It was as relevant to the story as the training stage fighting game background is. There it is. It's a background.
It sure was the thing.
No one's ever going to talk about it or interact with it, ever.
Yep. We then go back to Calamon again. Yay! Do you like Calamon?
I do.
He's your favourite?
He's kind of my favourite.
You also like Terriermon, because he's a bun.
Okay, I like Terriermon, but Terriermon doesn't show up doesn't do stuff as often as I'd like him to.
I love him. So yeah, Calamon sees a data packet and cheers up and he starts singing his theme song.
It's adorable, and in the English he's just rhyming and being crap.
And mentions how he could be a bear and not wear underwear, and also some food, and some things about food. And then some Woodmon see him and wonder who he is, and say, we don't know who he is, but he's cute. And then they hope that he's not lost, which is really sweet. They care about him even though they don't know who he is. In the dub, Woodmon says that he's crazy and that he probably has heat stroke. So it's just such a different tone from, oh, what is that? Oh, he's so cute. Oh, I hope he's not lost, to, wow, that Digimon's crazy. 2 words, heat, stroke. It's 1 word, though.
No, it's a hyphenated word, probably.
Oh, I always wrote it was 1.
I don't know, it could be.
Then we see some white flying things next to him, and these things are the ones who helped him out of the cage.
So what are those? Oh, are they?
What? They're the same things that helped him, aren't they?
Well, I thought that just like energy balls went by when he was in the cage.
I thought that was them.
These have a specific shape to them. These are like Digimon.
But are they?
I don't know. Is Calamon a Digimon?
But is he?
So I just asked you.
I don't know.
I think you do.
His head starts glowing, and the trail that he's forming starts
so
glowing.
Happy.
And it reminds me of like early when they accidentally drew the pentagram, and they summoned a Digimon, but it's like kind of less organized. And yeah, and it starts to glow, and Woodmon all evolve to Cherrymon. Then, because and I'm glad that they had to do this, Makurumon, of course, sees the glowing light.
He goes, that's evolution right there. That means there are tamers there. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Because there aren't.
Yeah, but he mainly knows that the evolution is tamers, or Calamon, so one of the others.
Or God.
Yeah, basically.
No, he doesn't know it's Calamon.
Yeah, I know, and I like that. I'm just saying that, like, there's only a few things it could be, and he guesses wrong, and that's fine, because he wouldn't really know.
But he goes, and Calamon is running, and just before Makurumon shows up, falls down a cliff.
And it's so sad.
And then at the exact same time Makurumon sort of shows up, that's when the Digidestin round the corner.
Yeah.
Oh no, wacky mishaps.
Yeah. And Cyberdramon sees the Dragon Dava and flies off, we're going to fight him. And Ryo comments about how he just doesn't listen when he sees a strong enemy. Terriermon and Gilmon evolve, and none of their attacks work on Majiramon, because why would they? Ryo then card slashes a king device, and Cyberdramon grows huge.
I'm actively upset that his thing is also cards. He's from another universe.
But he's also a card...
Why would he have a D-Arc?
Because he plays the card game.
But him playing the card game wouldn't give him a D-Arc when he had a different Digivice beforehand.
No, he didn't. He borrowed Taichi's. He never really had his own partner.
That's stupid.
And then he had Beamon another game. He never really had his own partner until the last game, and he had a Monodramon, and I don't think he had I think he was still borrowing a Digivice from Gen I.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Also, the fact that you can borrow Digivices is stupid.
Yeah. Well, it didn't work the same way. He was using the Digivice in the first game to purify Digimon.
Okay.
Because he couldn't use it to evolve, because it wasn't his Digivice, but it still had his holy powers.
Okay, I think in Try, if Ryo showed up and Ty was like, yo, it's Ryo, I know him.
No, their memories were wiped.
Boo!
They all met Ryo, but their memories were wiped.
Boo! This is the worst show ever.
Yep.
Seriously, why does he ever show up?
Maybe something happened that rebooted their memories.
No, you can't make me hype about this.
And then, it's called a Goliath card in the English version.
And it's the King device.
Yeah, in the original. And Ryo explains that it's like a wild card and only the strongest tamers can use it.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It's basically
him saying, card.
It's him saying, I'm special, no one else can do this, I'm the best.
He makes it sound even more, stupid in English. He's like, you have to be the strongest. You know what that is? That's someone in Magic being like, this is a mythic rare. You need to be 18 years or older to play one of these.
I feel like,
what does that mean?
I feel like he's worse in the English version, definitely, though.
Yeah, it's because he sounds... He's not like, this is how things are. He's like, yeah, I'm so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm Ryo, and I'm... awesome!
But at least in the original he explains it's a wild card and, you might not get the right effects. And that's why... He explains why only the strongest tamers can use it. Because otherwise, the card might not work properly. It might get you an effect that you don't want.
I'm really pretty sure he just said, this is Cryptic Command. You need to be a legacy player to play this.
No, I feel like it was understandable. I'll give him forgiveness of the original.
I refuse. It's such a crap thing to say. Because they all play the card game. They know what it is.
Yeah. Then Ryo uses his Digivice to whip Cyberdramon again, and Takado wonders what's wrong with him. Ryo then explains that Cyberdramon will fight until his fighting spirit is gone, and that they have to split off. He runs off with Cyberdramon and says to tell Ruki, he says hi. In the dub, he's like, and tell that wildcat Ruki I say hi.
Okay, that's one of the reasons that I'm like, oh, it's definitely a Crush storyline, because he's just being such a he's now being a weirdo too.
Yeah, he's such a jerk.
Okay, but did you write down what Davis says right at the end of the English
I just ignore Davis now.
Yo, Cybermon needs to take a cyber chill pill!
Oh, that's right. I hate Davis so much.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, why won't this stop? I dealt with this. I lived with this. You don't want this.
So yeah, Ryo is gone, probably forever, and good.
What do you think of this episode as someone who is new to Digimon?
Nothing happens. It's so boring. The only good parts are when Calamon is on screen, and even then, half the time, it's pointless.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens in this episode? Let's recount the situation.
Calamon's cute!
The kids meet up. They sleep in a hotel. They fight a Digimon. outside and not even an interesting circumstance. They just run into one and fight it and win.
Yeah.
And then the guest character leaves. Great. Having improved no one's lives, and in fact, the only story that he put forward at all is that one of the Davis is dead, something that the other characters could have done anyway, presumably, with enough fighting spirit. And so the only thing he did, that he contributed to the show independently, was he made Ruki go off alone. However, I submit this evidence. She hated Kenta and Kazu so much, she would have done it anyway.
Yeah, no, but I feel like the reason she didn't leave Kazu and Kenta alone is because they couldn't protect themselves.
I think it would have been much more interesting if she did go off alone, and then you have this question of, like, she did something really irresponsible.
Yeah, but I like her being responsible.
No. I think that Renamon is responsible, but I think that Ruki still has a temper, and maybe should have character development still. She can't just be perfect already.
She was still pretty angry at them, though.
Yeah, and I think that would have been a good way to, like, get something happening. But now...
Just because she doesn't like them doesn't mean, like, she's fine with them dying, and that's effectively what she would do if she left them alone.
Nah, she would, like, assess, well, the Digimon in this area are friendly, or whatever. My point is...
She wanted to send them home, remember? She wanted to find out...
She also wants to go home.
Yeah, but that's only in the dub. In the original, like, she just says, I want to stay here to look after Calamon, and to find Calamon, and find my friends. You are going home as soon as we find out how to get home, because I want you home.
Is that any worse than introducing a character and introducing a conflict to Ruki, which can now never be resolved?
So you think he's gone?
I don't think he's ever coming back. I think he's gone. Especially since you told me about that thing when the notes, they're like, oh yeah, they totally told me he had to be in the show, so we put him in.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, there's no way he comes back. If he does come back, I'd be surprised.
They said that about a few characters that are just shown, like, oh yeah, I didn't really want to put them in, but...
Like, I don't know. Who's Kenta?
Who cares? What'd you rate this episode?
I don't know. Like a 5?
I gave it a 7. Probably too high. Probably deserves a 6.
Like, if it's a 5, nothing happens.
Okay, I'm going to change my rating and give it a 6. So first one 7, second one 6.
This is a horrible neutral episode.
Calamon saves it.
Yeah. That's where 4 of those points came from.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about these 2 episodes. If you took these out of the series, the only thing that changes, as far as I'm aware, is that Kenta and Kazu meet up with the main group.
Yep, that happens. It's the most plot that happens.
And you could have fixed that by making them remain at the flag.
Yep, but they wanted to have this episode.
So if you fully took these episodes out, nothing would change.
Yep.
Arguably.
Yep.
It's really bad.
Yeah. It's not fantastic.
Even my rating of 6.32 was 1.32 higher than it should have been.
What do you think about the episode compared to what you thought it would be in Obnoxious Synopsis?
Look, I thought it would be like a cool castle made out of a dead giant. There'd be like a ghost and they'd capture people and there'd be a whole thing. But like, there was nothing. Nothing happened. There was a ghost castle, which was kind of a hotel, really. There were 2 kinds of Digimon inside, none of which even vaguely interacted with the kids. Mm-hmm. And then they left. And that was the end of that. Mm-hmm. And the Goliath was just a card that got played that basically said ×2 strength.
Yep, and makes him big. It makes him large and tall.
And then Rio left forever.
Yep, the end.
Okay, sure.
And you said it'd be filler, though.
I was right.
Yeah, a little bit.
The episode really sucked.
What was the major difference that you noticed between the Japanese and the English version?
Dude, I mean, I think it's that Colamon doesn't sing, and instead he does this stupid crap rhyme. So when on one hand it's like magical and fun, because his theme is going, and it's great. Instead it's just garbage. But that's a difference in my enjoyment, I think, rather than the actual content of the episode.
I didn't enjoy Kulamon's song in the dub, but his is so cute in the original. It's also the song in the Calamon Pocket PlayStation game.
Sorry, also, Cyberdramon needs to take a cyber chill pill!
Also, Davis always. I do not remember him being in this far into the season, but I guess he is. He's here to stay.
He must be in every episode.
I'm really upset by this. And, yeah, so my main difference that I noticed was, I'm just going to always say it's mainly attitude of characters.
But yeah, but you can identify it specifically.
Like, Ruki is pretty understandable all the time. And she's barely in this episode. But Rio, again, he feels bad that Ruki left. He says, that was my fault. But he just does not say anything of the sort in the dub. And again, like, instead of saying, oh, tell Rookie I say hi, it's more like it's friendly. But instead of like, well, tell that wildcat Rookie. That's smug.
Which also implies that when she ran off, it was because of... It's kind of her fault for being a wildcat, I guess.
Yeah.
Because if she stormed off and it was his fault, he wouldn't call her that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he would anyway. If you piss someone off so much that they stormed off, you would be like, and you felt bad about it, you'd be like, oh, well, tell them I'm sorry, since they're such a firecracker. Like, why would... You're kind of blaming it on them for being in their nature. You can't apologize at the same time.
What are your overall thoughts about Rio?
I think he looks really cool. I think the idea of him showing up is really awesome. But I think his execution in these 2 episodes was boring.
Yep. Do you think we'll see him again?
No.
No? Not ever? Ever?
No, I think he's gone.
Was it strange finally seeing him after covering the WonderSwan games? And then seeing him in the
Wait a
background?
minute.
Yeah? What do you mean?
This is what happened with Blackwell Greymon. I remember this. When I said we'd never see him again. And then he came back. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so was it strange finally seeing him after covering the WonderSwan games and then seeing him in the background of our war game and some episodes of 02?
Look, as far as the games go, no. Because honestly, that episode we did was a long time ago. I never played the games. I never saw pictures of him. And
I showed you pictures during the recording.
yeah, but like I have no real association with him. I know he was involved in the games, much in the same way that I know Mario's in a bunch of games that I've never played.
Yeah.
But I only associate him with the stuff I have seen him in, which in this case is the background of 02 and our war game, which is sort of when it gets weird, right?
Yeah.
Because on one hand I'm like, yeah, he's finally kind of getting addressed, and then it doesn't get addressed. So, yes, it was strange. And I think it was even stranger the way they handled it, because I think it was a good opportunity to talk about stuff. And I think especially if the English was canon, there could have been some of the most hilarious conversations of all time, which include, oh yeah, so I was hanging out with Ken this one time, and someone goes, wait a minute, you mean Ken from the cartoon?
Yeah.
And I think modern day writing would have done that, but I think this is 90s writing, or like early 2000s writing, and it's for tiny children, and they're like, well, no one knows this, so screw it.
Do you think it required knowledge of the WonderSwan games, and would it be a bit random without him, or do you think that they explain it well enough for him to be his own character without the WonderSwan game knowledge? Like,
Okay.
for example, in 02, he just sort of shows up without an explanation at all, and that's weird and unexplained. But now, do you think it's a bit easier to understand?
Okay, so in isolation, within the context of Tamers, it is only just kind of random. In the same way that if, like, we went to episode 40... we had spent all this time with all these characters, and then all of a sudden, Takado's sister shows up. And they're like, oh, she was at boarding school.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just, oh, you're introducing a character late in the game, and then giving her a backstory, and pretending everyone knows who they were, but, like, it was kind of obvious that they were not intended to be written into the show.
Yeah.
That's really all it felt like. However, you have to take it into the context of the games, to an extent, which explains a lot.
Yep.
However, let's put that aside, and keep in mind if you just watched the show, right? Mm-hmm. And let's pretend you were really eagle-eyed and you had like an eidetic memory,
Yep.
so you remembered everything, and you hit Tamers, and you go, wait a minute, that guy. At this point, this is the weirdest possible version of everything, because you've gone, that guy showed up in the other show. This is a different universe, but you don't have the games to connect it.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be the most confusing thing, because they don't even try to explain at all.
Yeah. No, I see where you're coming from.
In fact, I think it's even weirder because
I agree with you.
I think it's even weirder because he obviously did have a real world presence. He played enough card games to become vaguely famous amongst random kids. I think it would have made more sense that if he teleported from another world, he would be in the digital world the whole time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's quite random. I think the knowledge of the WonderSwan games makes it better, but if you haven't played them, you also hopefully will not have remembered he's in 02.
Yeah. As for screenshot of the week, mine is Terriermon and Henry's hair when the wind's blowing. They both look so grumpy. And if you take away the context of the wind blowing, it looks pretty funny.
Oh, they're grumpy.
Yours?
Mine was Curlymon with the flag cape, and because when I saw it the first time, it was like a revelation. Like, I want him to be like this forever.
He's so cute. It's his evolution, caped Curlymon.
Do you know what the cape looks like now that I'm really thinking about
What?
it? When he's wearing it?
What?
It reminds me of Togepi's shell.
Oh, it does. cute.
Because it's got little, like, bits
Yeah,
of
no,
colour.
I see that. There were some Digimon introduced in these episodes, so I'll go through them one by one. Clockmon,
I don't even know. Was that the gear one?
the one who wasn't the gear.
Oh, the one with the clock with the dude
Yeah,
riding it,
the clock
right?
one, yeah.
Because I've seen that in Cyber Sleuth, actually.
Oh,
But in
yeah.
Cyber Sleuth, it positions it as if, like, the thing's got a virus, as if the thing on top of it is infecting it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, they're two different Digimon? No, they're one Digimon.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Hagurumon, which I guess you've seen in Cyber Sleuth, probably.
Which one's Hagurumon?
The gear.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
He's one of the starters.
That's a really classic, like, Digimon design, in the sense that, like... This is very comparable to this is a very comparable design to Pokemon, where you put this next to Magnemite, and you go, which one's a Pokemon, which one's a Digimon? You go, that one's a Digimon. It's got a human face on it.
Yeah. And we've met Megadramon before, so do you have any more thoughts about
I think
Megadramon?
it's so awesome.
I like Gigadramon better. He's blue instead of orange.
It's the same, though.
It's what my Airdramon would evolve into.
It's so cool.
What about Cyberdramon?
I think Cyberdramon's awesome. I said it before. I think he looks like what Megalogramon should turn into.
Yeah, even though he's a perfect level.
I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
but, obviously it doesn't work, and he comes from a different Digimon entirely.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's just the design. You just darken the body, and then you put the metal on the face, and then you just wall Greymon it.
Yep.
I don't know what Nohamon is the Scarecrow.
Yeah, Nohamon is the...
It's really crap. It's just a Scarecrow. If you took away the other ones, you could have told me that wasn't a Digimon, and
So,
I would have believed you.
I'm just going to pause for a second. I'm just going to show you what...
He has pants!
That's Strike-Dramon, who evolves into Cyberdramon.
I mean, I guess that's a fairly direct evolution.
Yeah,
can
it
see
looks
that.
really good.
It doesn't. That looks like crap, but...
No, I'm just saying it looks good. Like, when you look at Cyberdramon and you say, this is someone you've just put lots of armour on and you've given some steroids to. Which effectively is what Digimon is, right?
Pretty much.
The next one's Dogimon.
I love it. It's really a huge rip-off of Duck Hunt Dog, but I still love it.
I love him too.
That's the reverse of what I was talking about with the gear.
Yep.
Is that looks like he actually kind of looks like a Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, he's Duck Hunt, right?
Duck Hunt Dog.
Duck Hunt. Woo! For Postmon Pat, first up we have a Gmail email from Chakmon, and they say that they thought Kazu and Kenta's excellent adventure was really cute. It's sad the English version cut Rika kicking Kazu's bum and him landing and kissing Kenta. They loved that the Digimon were the tamers and Kazu and Kenta were the Digimon.
It was pretty good.
They also loved the opening of Motorcycle Madness, how it zooms out from Riki's kite. It's a great opening. Choromon was cute, and they noticed that there was a G2 chip in the wall of a building in the data.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a very old Mac chip, I believe.
I believe you.
And, I mean, I might be... And then they say that the G3 was probably just taking over, and maybe the G2 was considered old and rubbish. And then, I mean, like, I could be wrong here, but I think from memory, the G2 was discontinued in 2001 or 2002, if I'm thinking of the right one. And so, yeah, probably. And it's a nice little Easter egg and I didn't notice until Chakmon pointed it out, so thank you. Then they say, in reply to Jay's comment, no Lost in Hiatusmon. They love our regular schedule. Because you made a comment about going on hiatus.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't remember doing that.
Yep.
I mean, I probably did. Anything to not watch Digimon.
Chakmon finishes the email saying, please like Hirokazu.
No.
He's cute and makes such a good friend and has cool hair.
Not in English.
Yeah,
In English, he's awful.
Yes, but Hirokazu is fine.
I will sacrifice Hirokazu to kill Kazu.
Our next Gmail is from Frost Moragic, and they say, had a lot of feelings watching Try Chapter 3. They said that that their dog was so used to them screaming that they got over it. Solid. All right. Because dogs are so good. I love dogs. Then they say, so excited to hear what our thoughts were on Rio. Frost Moragic says they hated him as a kid, but love him now.
You'd be much better off not having changed your opinion.
Frost Moragic was also scared of Motorcycle Madness as a kid because they'd read all the fairy tales and the Red Shoes story was really scary.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, just having the perspective of actually knowing that story beforehand.
They don't think that Juri necessarily has autism, but something does seem off about her, and the way that everyone, like, no one really makes fun of her for having the puppet.
And also how she's just a huge weirdo all the time. Like, you're my Digimon.
Okay, I love her.
I've just met you. What are you talking about?
Juri needs to be protected. I love her.
You're my Digimon.
Frost Moragic said that they were also using Wanikani and says that it's excellent, but it's only free for the first 3 levels, which I now know. And I'm actually kind of want to pay for a lifetime of it because it's really, really
How much
good.
is the lifetime of it?
$300.
Oh my god.
It's $100 a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Well,
they have sales around New Year's. I sent them a message and said, "Hey, how often do you have sales?" And they said, "Oh, we usually have them about New Year's, so I'm gonna get it for Christmas because that's a lot of money."
Do you need it for more than 2 years?
I don't know, like, I really want to learn Japanese, and, like, I don't know, I really want it.
$300?
That's a lot of money, especially US dollars. That's
300?
like,
Sorry,
that's like 350 Australian.
No, that is like 400 to 450.
Oh, it is. That's right. The Australian dollar's really bad. Oh my gosh.
That's a little bit of money, miss.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend any more money.
I know. That's why I said I'm asking it for Christmas. Frostmaragic then asks if we ever consider live streaming our podcasts.
We don't.
And we have considered it in the past. And it's just like, it's mainly because time differences, but also Australian internet's not good. The quality would not be good to live stream. It would be slideshowy. It's just, Australian internet is not good.
I don't think it would be quite that bad quality.
When we live streamed last year for International Podcast Day.
Did we?
Yeah, well, I did because you didn't want to.
Oh, right.
It was just terrible quality, and I can only imagine what quality an actual podcast would be. So no, I just don't think the quality would be worth it. It wouldn't be very good, and I feel like there'd be too many technical hiccups because of Australia's internet. Remember, to upload a video, like, which is just audio with an icon on the background, takes several hours to upload with Australian internet.
But weren't you combining that with multiple other people in different countries?
Yes, and that's what a live stream and the podcast would be.
No, I mean, they would just be watching it. It wouldn't slow us down. That'd be about them.
Yes.
It's only about our upload speed at that point.
Yes, which is terrible. As I said, to upload a video to YouTube that's just audio with one static picture takes overnight, basically.
Well, I've never given it a shot, so I guess I have to take your word for it.
Yeah, it would be worse than when I was... And plus, we have more listeners now. There were only like 2 or 3 people who were watching the live stream that we did last year, because we didn't have many listeners at the time. And now we have more listeners, so if more people did tune in, it just would not be good quality.
5 or 6 listeners, yeah.
No, I just don't think it would be able to hold up. It would be slow, it'd be laggy. Australia does not have the internet for that kind of thing. Until Australian internet improves, I don't think we can do that. Frost Moragic is also hoping that we get Australian access to the tri-dub. The next email is from SP, and they say Applimon, even though it's a kids' show, is worth the time to watch, and even Jay might like it.
Like, I really don't think I will. I know you've said a lot of good stuff about it, but, like, it seems so awful. The whole app thing... And it's just so not Digimon that even if I was vaguely invested in Digimon, which by and large I am not.
Considering you've covered 3 seasons.
Yeah. So even if I was vaguely invested in it, there's nothing linking me to that show. At which point, I don't know, it looks really dumb. SP
then says, have any theories about why the Digimon the kids meets don't know about the Deva? And then SP suggests maybe they come from higher realms and the Digimon that they're visiting are in lower realms. Well, that's possible.
I just feel like they're not very public, necessarily. I mean, I'm not sure anyone in Adventure ever mentioned any of the Dark Masters necessarily by name unless they were looking right at them.
Yeah. Or they were there.
They always referred to them just as the Dark Masters. They were never I'm scared of Piedmon.
Though the ones that were seen as the lackeys would refer to them as...
Well, that makes sense because they're looking right at them.
Yeah. And no, I see that the higher realms, maybe have different religion or something. The lower realms don't, maybe. So I like that theory.
What's a higher realm?
Higher realm, different areas of the different planes and areas of the world.
The clouds didn't know either, did they?
They didn't mention it, but they weren't really asked.
Also, Ryo's been everywhere. He would have known about them if they were public at all.
Did he really? They didn't really talk about them.
He's been there for 10 months.
No, but they didn't really talk about the Devas.
He asked them. He said, "Look at this Deva." He goes, "What's a Deva?"
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. SP then says, as for the next episode, regardless if Jay finds Ryo's stories bad or not properly explained.
It's really bad not properly explained.
It's really sad. I mean, think about it. Ryo is an amnesiac kid from another universe with no real ties to the real world. He probably became king of the card games since he had experience on instinct and decided to stay in the digital world so he can tame his Digimon. No matter what, it's tragic, don't you agree?
Here's a question for you.
Yep.
His experience is in the digital world fighting Digimon, right?
Yeah.
In, like, conquering world-threatening threats and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Like Millenniumon bringing back all the bad guys from Adventure.
So he shows up and looks at this card game and goes, I recognize those things kind of maybe from my memory.
Yep.
And then he's good at it. That's the leap. Much in the same way as, like, I don't know if football cards are actually a game, but if you were really good at football and then you got knocked out or broke your leg or something and couldn't play football anymore, and you looked at the football cards and were like, I'm amazing at those naturally now.
Yeah.
Something the show does that really frustrates me is that it equates playing a card game with actually looking after your Digimon.
Yeah.
Which it couldn't have less to do with.
The next message is on With the Will from Digital Guy, who says they just caught up on the podcast and they're really enjoying both perspectives. They
How
like...
long it takes to catch up on the podcast?
Probably a lot of
You
time.
can, like, there's...
This is the 71st episode.
So it's like 140 hours at least.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then we also have special episodes, so we have, like, I think 90, including... we just did episodes, the special episode, like, 14 or 15?
We've done a lot of content for this.
We've done a lot, and we also have, like,
That's upsetting.
the Let's Plays, which we need to continue on.
Oh,
Anyway,
sad.
Digital Guy says they like my theories and enjoyment of Digimon, but they also like you because they're also a huge fan of wrestling, Best Friend Play, and Persona.
That's goddamn right you are. Alright everybody, join us for the next episode of Yuri on Ice, The Imperfect Storm.
Or, urgent message from the digital world. Kellamon is...
Or Kazu's Upgrade.
Or, friendship with Gardramon, Tamer Hirokazu.
Boo!
Oh, I didn't read that whole one. It's actually friendship with Gardramon, Tamer Hirokazu. I also want to fight.
That's so stupid!
For Weekly Wonders, I'm going to say Applymon, but that doesn't really count because it's Digimon, and you watch it. It's good. For a kid's show, it's good. I like it. Promising. Great. But I'm also going to tell a bit of a story about how my Wednesday morning went. Yeah, my Wednesday morning. So, just a bit of a backstory. My lovely Fitbit, which I love with all my heart, was the Charge HR, and they just have a problem of about a year after you wear them, the bands just kind of break. They just kind of break. So,
And you were all like, I'm gonna go get the band back together and try to glue it all back together.
yeah, basically that was my progress
That
from
was a
like
rough
the
time.
past few. I think it started like 2 months ago when it first started breaking, and then like it continued to break. So I put some bonding glue and that sort of held it together during Japan, and then like it kind of started to like fall off. And then the other day I was just putting on a shirt and the band just fell off, and I was like, oh well, oops. And this is one that doesn't have replaceable bands. So because I'm responsible, I bought a Fitbit Blaze.
Wait, weren't you not spending any more money?
This was an emergency thing. I can't live without a pedometer. I need a fitness tracker.
Fair enough.
I'm too fitness focused not to have a fitness tracker.
Use the Pokemon one.
No, it's not a fitness tracker. This one does my heart rate and my sleep patterns, and it logs my exercises for me.
Okay.
And I can control music, and I can like hang up on calls from it and get notifications.
Can't pick them up though.
I can pick them up, but I mainly hang up as an important
Yeah.
feature. It's pretty cool. If you want to get a Fitbit, I would not recommend the Charge because apparently the band just explodes after a while. The Blaze is not the most expensive one because the most expensive one has GPS in it. This one just connects to your phone and uses the phone's GPS. And also this one looks nicer. It's got nicer colours and it's brighter and it's cute. And I wanted bright cute, so I got this. So yeah, I recommend Fitbit, but just not the Charge HR. Get anyone with a replaceable band. Because this one has a replaceable band and it's cool.
I've been reading comics again because I've had.
Isn't that what you always do?
I've had occasional downtime. No, it's actually not. Mostly I watch Lucha Underground.
Oh yeah. That's what you wrecked last week.
And I've been reading Squirrel Girl, which is excellent. And I recommend it. It's about Dorian Green, who has partially squirrel blood, which gives her all the powers of a squirrel. And she's just really funny. It's quite meta a lot. It's like a really sweet, nice version of Deadpool almost. And like it's quite wacky and it's very self-aware. And basically her power, I know it's described as squirrels, but really it's just that she wins because the heroes are meant to win. Which means that in canon she has beaten Doctor Doom and Thanos and Galactus.
So I've read some Squirrel Girl, and for some reason her voice always, to me, in my head, reminds me of Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls, and I just feel like that's how she sounds in my head.
I've never thought because like Mabel's like really, really young.
Yeah.
Whereas like Squirrel Girl isn't quite so
she's
young.
in uni, so but I feel like that's the voice, and I don't know why, because I was trying to work out what's the voice that's playing in my head when I read this, and it was Mabel Pines.
In my head, it is Canadian 25-year-old.
Well, her name does sound like Maple Pine. That's
Doreen
Canadian.
Green.
Mabel Pines. Maple Pines.
Oh, right.
That's Canadian.
Sure, I guess. And yeah, it's a really fun book. I really like the bit where she decides to adopt a secret identity, and so she's like, I'm gonna go like get an education and go to college. So she signs up for computer science classes at the local community college, and she goes to move into her dorm, and she's carrying all of her boxes at once in one hand, and she's walking around, and her squirrel, who's always on her shoulder, is like talking to her, and no one else can obviously understand it.
Yeah, I remember that part.
And
yeah.
it's like, hey, you know that normal people can't carry all these boxes, right? And she's like, oh yeah. See someone looking at her and goes, I'm just a normal girl, definitely carrying all these empty boxes, and just drops them all immediately.
Yep.
And then the squirrel's like, I don't think normal girls say any of that stuff either.
No, I love it. It's really cute. The link dump will be linked in the description, and to contact us and stay updated, you can email us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or message us on SoundCloud. You can follow us on @TranslationMon on Twitter and on Vine, and you can find us on Lost in Translationmon on Tumblr, Facebook, and YouTube. We have a discussion thread on With the Will, and a Reddit thread in the Digimon subreddit. We'd appreciate it if you were to review us on iTunes and Stitcher, because we'd weed it out, hopefully, when the email service tells me I have reviews. And so yeah, we'll totally read that. It'd be great.
So thank you to all our Patreon supporters. Stevie, who hosts a podcast with another supporter, Sam Krieger, called The Moncast, which talks about Pokemon and Digimon side by side. Wu Qinglong, you can find at twitch.tv/Wu Qinglong. Metal Mamemon, Joe, Chuckmon, Ishpal Bamba, Hiro Olato, who you can find at Hiro Olato on Twitter, Jason Morosky, Frost Miragic, who is at Frost Miragic on Twitter, Stephen Reeves, who is at WildBlink64 on Twitter, Kaidawashi, Mac, Noam, Riku, Red and Garen from Breakfast with Digimon, which is another Digimon podcast, and as of recently, Jams.
You can also make a one-off donation on PayPal, which can be linked in the description, which is paypal.me/Airjamon. And make sure to let us know if it's for the podcast, and we'd super duper appreciate it. And thank you. Yay. Anyway, so we'll see you guys next week, and maybe soon, because I'll be doing an Applymon episode, hopefully. Yay. Anyway, so see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.